It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good.
Two of the best to ever do it. When you look at Moses Moody.
I hear you, Kendrick Perkins. I hear you loud and clear. Yes, the Grizzlies could have had Moses Moody. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's not right. But they don't. And they could have had James Bouknight, but they don't have him either. They have a guy named Zaire Williams, which we'll talk about on today's program. We welcome you into Sports 56 Middays. It is Friday, the weekend just about upon us, and boy, is there a lot going on in the world of sports. It's the Friday, July 30th, 2021 edition of the program. I am Greg Gaston alongside Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. First hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by Action 24/7. Yes, the draft, first and foremost on the docket today. The Grizzlies with a couple of interesting picks that they made. Some other moves that were made last night, interesting as well. Some teams stocked up because they had a lot of picks to make. We will dissect it throughout the show. We will talk draft in the first segment. We will talk draft later on in the show when Brevin Knight joins us at 12:05, Grizzlies television analyst, who on these airwaves not that long ago was talking to Eli Savoy. I think I was on vacation that day and was pretty critical of his fellow Stanford Cardinal. Now we'll see what tune he's singing about Zaire Williams after he was selected last night by the Grizzlies. But Brevin at 12:05. Before that, at 10:25, we're scheduled to be joined by our buddy Barrett Sallee, who is a regular during the college football season. He has been busy as a bee on SiriusXM radio with show after show concerning everything that's going on now in the college sports landscape. Texas has made it official this morning. They've accepted the invitation from the SEC. Oklahoma, if it hasn't happened yet, will follow suit. So we'll dive into that as well. It's also the Major League Baseball trade deadline, and already there have been some huge moves in Major League Baseball. Today's also the final day for golfers to commit to next week's WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Any breaking news about commitments, we will let you know as far as that's concerned. We also get 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Give you a chance to win a great prize package. We'll do that at 12:30. We want to hear from you about the Grizzlies, about the NBA draft. You can text in at 360-8255, 360-8255. And during open segments, we could also take your phone call. Same number, 901-360-8255. Good morning, Eli.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, Friday. That's the good news. The other good news is that I do still have faith in Zach Kleiman and Tayshaun Prince and the front office of the Grizzlies. So I will indeed, as Anthony said and others have said, give them the benefit of the doubt. Who wouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt? But I still think you can be critical. You can question the picks, wonder why that happened. I mean, there's a lot of spinning going on, especially with local media who didn't even know who Zaire Williams was, or at least did not have an inkling that he could be that pick at number 10, especially after the things that happened beforehand where both Moody and Bouknight were available to the Grizzlies at 10. But they go after Zaire Williams, a 6'8 forward at Stanford, played one season, played 20 games, had some injuries, had some COVID issues. He is known to be a shooter and a playmaker, and he was one of the best in the country coming out of high school. And he played at Laurel Canyon. He played with Bronny James, I believe. But at Stanford, he was not good. And the numbers for shooting, 7% from the field, 29% from three, averaged only 2.2 assists per game. So this sounds like a reach, and I question whether or not they could have stayed at 17 and got him at 17, but that trade was more than just moving up to 10, even though that was the main ingredient of the Jonas Valanciunas trade. But, Eli, I'm sure you were baffled by it as well.
Yeah, I was surprised and disappointed. There's no doubt. I said yesterday that I was hoping they would trade up again to get Book Knight because I didn't think that you could get him at 10, and then he's sitting there at 10, and I thought, boy, this is perfect. Like he has just fallen right into their lap. Like you can't ask for better than this. Would have accepted Moody and been fine with that, even though I like Book Knight better. Did not see that being the guy they traded up for. Listen, there certainly is negatives if you look back at, especially the 1 year at Stanford. But even going beyond that, he is with some of the other guys. He has been injury prone. In high school, his sophomore year, he was injured. His junior year, he was injured. Last year at Stanford, he was dealt with injuries. There have never been major injuries, but he's one of those guys that so far in his young basketball career has just kind of dealt with those little injuries that make him miss games here and there. The shooting, as you mentioned, was not good at all. He only shot 23% on catch-and-shoot shots. He's much better off the dribble than a catch-and-shoot guy. Only shot 53% at the rim because he is not very strong. He is rail thin. He's got to get a lot stronger. Now, and he did average 3 turnovers per game as well last year at Stanford because he kind of gets knocked off balance a lot and because of his weakness. But he was a top 5 high school player, McDonald's All-American. Like there is a pedigree there that there's a reason that he was ranked as highly as he was coming out of high school. And he's got to get stronger, all of that. But all of the reports say that he is a hard worker, that he wants it, wants to be great. He is willing to put in the time, everything else. So that is something good. That's when we go back to the worst draft pick the Grizzlies ever made. That was one of the biggest problems with the old Hasheem Thabit trade is everything about it. All of the reports said he wasn't a hard worker. He didn't want it that badly. This guy, everybody says, wants it. So that is certainly good. It is a project, as Zach Kleiman said. This is a kind of a down the road pick. A guy that they believe with the ability, with the length, athleticism, when he gets stronger, give a couple years to develop. They think he can be great. Again, I would have much rather had Book Knight. Honestly, I would have rather had the guy that went at 17. I would have rather had Trey Murphy.
I tweeted out, can they still make a trade back with New Orleans?
I would have been fine with the guys that went 17th and 51st last night. I'd have been really good with the guys that went 17th and 40th last night. But listen, this front office, they do, I think, deserve the benefit of the doubt in the draft. Unlike the old one would have made a pick like this. We would have all assumed that he was going to be terrible because every draft pick they made was terrible.
People would have been losing their mind this morning if it was Chris Wallace making the picks.
But they made this front office may very well have last night used up all of the benefit of the doubt that they've earned to this point. Like this could backfire, and we shall see. We'll see where this goes. But I mean, I think everybody was surprised and a lot of people disappointed because of the guys they passed to take Zaire Williams, guys who looked certainly way more ready to step in and contribute right away. I mean, I think Book Knight will score immediately the moment he walks onto the NBA floor. Like he's going to be a scorer. Like that's what he does. I don't see Zaire Williams really being a contributor. And even Zach Kleiman said like this is a project cut pick. Like so. We'll see. Now it turns to player development. Can they develop him into the player they believe he can be based on his physical abilities?
All right, a few things. Number one, first of all, there was so much hyperbole going on in that broadcast last night and talking about this draft and comparing it to the greatest drafts ever. We'll see, and the proof will be in the pudding. You never know, but I don't see that. And if that's the case, and this is going to be one of the great drafts of all time, then you're really swinging for the fences with a guy like Zaire Williams as opposed to going to somebody more certain like Bouknight or even Moody. But you elected to swing for the fences that maybe this guy will be the player he was out of high school. Now, just because you were ranked that high in high school doesn't mean that translates into college. I mean, I would imagine Moussa Cisse was highly rated, and he's trying to find himself now at Oklahoma State after a less. I know he ended up winning the AAC Freshman of the Year, but come on, we know the struggles he faced. Doesn't mean he can't turn it around, be an NBA player one day, be a really good player. Same with Zaire Williams. So I will absolutely give Zach and those guys the benefit of the doubt. With that said, I could still be critical and hope that I'm wrong for the sake of the Grizzlies. And I'm going to be critical. I don't want to hear, I mean, the spin that's going on, especially with local media, is just absolutely nuts. I mean, when they moved up to 10, Zaire Williams was not a name. Never mentioned. Never mentioned. Anybody who says they mentioned him at 10, I know Anthony mentioned him when they were at 17, but at 10, nobody mentioned the guy. And then you're hoping, well, maybe Giddey will be there, and then Oklahoma City jumped up and they grabbed him pretty early. And then you had Bouknight and Moody, and you go, oh, they're getting one of those two guys. So I tweeted out this morning, it's like the 7 stages of grief. Because don't tell me when that name, Zaire Williams, was announced by Adam Silver, that anybody, fans, media around here who care about the Grizzlies, were jumping for joy. They were ecstatic. They were all stunned. People who work for the Grizzlies, they were stunned as well. Everybody was stunned. It was the 7 stages. Now it's acceptance. Now you accept the move because there's nothing else you can do. And you hope that this guy will pan out, that those injuries are in the past and all that. But again, when I read about his upside, shooting and playmaking, and he was neither a shooter or a playmaker at Stanford, Brevin Knight, again, will join us at 12:05. He was critical of him not that long ago. I would imagine, again, working and broadcasting for the Grizzlies, he'll be a little bit different in his thought process with him and give him the benefit of the doubt. But this is a fellow Stanford guy. So all the options they could have had in a draft that's supposedly going to be one of the best doesn't make sense. Then they own the 40th pick via that trade with the Pelicans, but they move up. Once again, they move up to 30. The Grizzlies have been pretty good. This front office, notorious for moving up at the end of the first round. And they make the trade with Utah. They trade 2 second-round picks in the future and then the 40th pick overall. And they get a guy from Spain who played at Loyola of Maryland and put up some really good numbers, a guy named Santi Aldama. And fine and dandy. Here's a guy, again, that's off the board. I don't know how many people were talking about him. Look at the numbers. Look at what he can do. Okay. And then you read, it's going to be tough to convert him to come to the United States because he wants to play in Spain. Now, being a first-round pick, albeit at the end of the first round, maybe that'll change his mind. But you're also gambling here that this guy will come and play in the United States and play for the Grizzlies. That was your night. That was your night. I haven't seen grades, and I know grades are meaningless now. It's just early thoughts on potential and things of that nature. But I can't imagine the grades are too good for the Grizzlies right now with what they were able to do in the draft.
That had them as a C, but yeah, I don't like those things. Don't matter. I don't. The second pick. I don't know. I assume they don't want him to come play right away. Would be my assumption. I assume this was a drafted stash guy.
That's what I think too.
I can't imagine they moved up in the first round thinking they're going to give him a first round contract right away. I would assume they did this as a drafted stash. I don't know.
But if it's a draft,
it just seems weird to draft that guy, to move up into the first round to get him.
But if you're going to do that, which they did, and you're going to draft, I mean, obviously they drafted him, and you're going to stash him, then you expect that in a year or so that he's going to be willing to come back or come to the United States, not come back. Well, obviously he played in Maryland. But a year away and playing professionally in Spain or wherever he's playing, I don't know if you turn around and want to leave after that, depending on whether or not he's one of those guys who just doesn't want to leave, homesick and all that. But I don't know. I don't know this guy from Adam. Nobody knows this guy other than those who do this for a living. Anybody in the media here says, oh, yeah, they know who this guy is. Shut up. Okay, just be quiet. But I like what he did at a smaller school in a smaller conference. But again, another thin guy has to put some strength muscle on to play in the NBA. He's at least a better shooter than what Zaire was in his first year at Stanford. But these, to me, seem to be reaches, but they must really, really feel that Zaire Williams can become the guy everybody expected him to become coming out of high school, because there's no other reason why you would take this guy where you did with what was available.
Well, to me, you just have to go on the idea that the year he had at Stanford was just so messed up that's why he struggled. He from obviously COVID, and they weren't even allowed to be at home. Like, they were on the road forever. He had like 2 different deaths in the family where he missed time because of that. Like, you just have to, I guess, go on the idea that that's chalk that up to that year is not him. We believe he is what he was coming out of high school. And there was a talk that, because of these workouts, some workouts he had, that people believed more that it was, you just kind of scratched last year, and that wasn't the real Zaire Williams, and it was more the high school. The thing with Aldama or whatever, too, is weird because he wouldn't take workouts. Like, he wouldn't even talk to teams during the pre-draft process, so everybody believed he had gotten a promise from somebody very early on. Mm-hmm. And if that was the Grizzlies, I wonder if they promised him like a first-round selection, and that's why they had to move up to the end of the first round to get him, or what? Because his whole thing, when I was reading about him, which I had no idea because I never heard of the guy, but reading about the fact that he literally wouldn't even do Zoom interviews with teams. Like, nobody, he basically wouldn't talk to teams. So everybody believed he had this promise, and why would you have promised this guy that early on? I don't know. That whole thing is very confusing to me.
Well, he turned down.
That is a very weird thing.
He turned down an invitation to the draft combine.
He turned down everything. He wouldn't work out.
I don't think they. I don't know, but I do not think they promised this guy a first-round selection. I do not believe that whatsoever. And I know that he was penciled in late second round. The Grizzlies obviously felt we better move up.
Explain a guy who wouldn't work out for teams going at the end of the first round then to one team.
Unless they had heard rumblings that a team was going to take him early in the second round before they got to 40, and they really, really liked him. And to make sure that they could get him, and all they had to give up was 2 future second rounders and exchange the picks, then maybe that's why they did it. I don't know. It would be hard for me to believe that they promised a first-round selection to that guy when they didn't own a second first-round selection. It's possible, but it's pretty much out of the ordinary. But it is weird, strange.
It's also out of the ordinary for a draft prospect to not work out for teams, not even do interviews with teams,
right,
and then get selected 30th overall by a team when he was not projected to anywhere near the first round.
Because maybe he doesn't care to go to the NBA. Maybe he just wants to stay in Spain. Like, it's also out there being reported that he may want to just play in Spain. I don't know. Maybe this changes his mind.
If he just wanted to play in Spain, what do you put your name in the draft for? Just to withdraw?
The reign in Spain falls mainly on the play. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it was an odd draft for the Grizzlies. Hopefully it'll work out. Now you get to the free agency stage of things. Could something happen there? They're still loaded with players. Bledsoe's still part of the team. We're going to get back into this, and then we're going to talk about everything else that happened last night. There were some trades. Of course, a big blockbuster trade between the Wizards and the Lakers. There were some surprises early on in the draft. A couple of guys who dropped down a little bit later than what was first thought. We'll do that later in the show. We'll have Brother Knight on to talk about the Grizzlies picks as well. But when we come back, we turn our attention to everything that's happening in college football and college athletics. Again, Oklahoma waiting for their official announcement. Texas has approved the invitation to the SEC. They now officially a member. The question is, when will they be able to get there and play in the SEC? Lawsuits are certainly going to happen, it looks like, unless the Big 12 can accept a huge buyout or some sort of payment from Oklahoma and Texas will be exiting. There's a lot of questions, not enough answers, but we'll try to get some of those answers with Barrett Sallee when we return. Just underway on a busy Friday. We'll get to your texts as well, your thoughts on the Grizzlies and their draft picks. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I have a very honest golf instructor. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. My instructor is Marty Fulton, a PGA Life member whom you may remember from Plantation, Whispering Woods, or Holiday Golf Club. When I asked him what I might do to improve my game, Marty, what did you tell me?
Sheldon, I told you to get your clubs together, put them in your car, then take them to the nearest lake and toss them in.
Great, Marty. You're a big help.
Sheldon, you're far better at selling homes than you'll ever be at golf. That's why people often say when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
Thanks, Marty. And if you or someone you know is thinking about selling their home, you should talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. Find out the difference in what they do in my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. You or they can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit Action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I was working part-time in a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr. McGee. He told me several times.
It was busy enough at SEC Media Days with the normal stuff, getting back to a normal SEC Media Days after what happened last year. And then all of a sudden Wednesday, of course, the news that just shook the college sports scene, not only football, but college athletics in general. It's been a crazy off season, of course, with name, image, likeness, and the talk of the 12-team expansion, right, for the playoff. But then, boom, Oklahoma and Texas. And I know it's official now this morning with Texas. I would imagine Oklahoma has voted or are in the process of voting to accept the invitation to the SEC. The whole landscape has changed. And I'll tell you, one of the busiest guys has been Barrett Sallee, who is a regular with us during the football season. And I've been trying to get him on. He's been so busy, but he's kind enough now to take some minutes out of his very busy schedule to join us. He, of course, is a writer for CBS Sports. You can watch him on CBS Sports HQ, listen to him on Sirius XM College Radio. He always seems to be on talking college football on Sirius XM. You can follow him on Twitter at Barrett Sallee. He's a big Atlanta Braves fan as well, as everybody knows by now. He is Barrett Sallee, who joins us on Middays. Have you had a chance to breathe?
A little, not really, actually, come to think of it. I'm sorry I couldn't get with you guys last week. It was totally normal for like a day and a half, like 2.5 days. Nick Saban wasn't even really that interesting. And then, bam, an hour after Nick Saban gets done talking, all hell breaks loose. So it's been a wild ride so far.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to slow down because there's so much uncertainty, so many questions of what could possibly happen. There's also stories, and you've read them all, and you've probably written some of them, that maybe the SEC isn't even done and that there could be this one giant super conference or 4 16-team super conferences like Jackie Sherrill once said here on Sports 56. There could be a lot of things, the end of the Big 12. That's a lot of questions for you to answer. So just kind of give us a general thought right now of where we're going with college football and how soon will this process take where Texas and Oklahoma are in there playing against SEC opponents?
Well, Greg, it takes a lot to get things moving quickly in our sport. That's just the way things are. With that said, I think it'll actually happen relatively quickly considering the NCAA is taking a step back from all of this. And it seems like the SEC is trying to fill that void, that power void that was left. So I think it'll happen quickly. I think I know the Pac-12 is fielding a bunch of calls, and they are looking to not necessarily expand, but they're definitely looking to come out of this in a very healthy way. I would imagine 4 16-team super conferences is where we end up. Would I be surprised if the SEC added a couple more? I mean, nothing would surprise me at this point. Mm-hmm. You have to sort of, I could say, yeah, it would surprise me, and then a minute later I could have a completely different answer. So, I think that's where we're headed into 4 conferences. And would there be partnerships? Yeah, I think there would. The SEC and ACC, have sort of a bond with the rivalries that exist, and the fact that they're both tied up with ESPN and or Disney, I guess, in big ways. The Pac-12 and Big Ten have the Rose Bowl. They have partial Fox TV contract. So there's a lot to suggest that we're going to 4 conferences, at least power conferences, and I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I would guess right now that there's that affiliation, SEC, ACC, and then Big Ten, Pac-12.
Barrett, before this came from the Houston Chronicle, had you heard anything? Did you have any inclination something was happening?
No clue. I know some Texas A&M folks, not just Brent Warnerman, but some others, had heard like a person or 2 people say it that were powerful, but that's about it. And so, no, it was a surprise, and that's what makes it interesting. I know folks say that this is a Texas A&M plant, and that they did this to maximize the visibility at Media Days. I don't think that's the case. I think there were a small group of people that did not want this to happen that were associated with Texas A&M, and they leaked it. I think Texas A&M, the school, is all for it. The money is going to be great. And so is it was it a Texas A&M leak? Yeah, maybe, but I do not think it was from within the actual administration.
We also have the whole Bob Bowlesby soap opera where he is absolutely losing his mind. You have Bowlesby obviously going after the all-powerful ESPN and as you said, Disney. And then you also have Bowlesby and Sankey basically kind of going at it. Sankey talking about that we really weren't the one pushing the 12-team playoff, so I don't know what people are saying. And then Bowlesby accusing, obviously, the SEC of conspiring all of this to bring in Oklahoma and Texas. What is the ultimate fate going to be for Bowlesby and the Big 12?
I think the Big 12 is done. I think right now they're trying to string it together, but the Pac-12 is being very aggressive. We all know the AAC is being very aggressive. And so, yeah, I mean, I think the Big Ten is probably looking at a couple schools, Iowa State in particular. So I think the Big 12 completely disbands. That's the reason, not to say that this is actually 100% accurate, but the whole accusation that ESPN was meddling is, I think, specifically in the Big 12. So there'd be nobody for Texas and Oklahoma to pay. There'd be
Right.
they'd owe an exit fee, but they wouldn't owe it to anybody because it wouldn't exist anymore. So, I think that's where it's headed. Maybe more than anything else because there's a sense of panic. Like if you're Oklahoma State, you're panicking a little bit trying to figure out where you stand. So if you get an invitation from the Pac-12, you're probably going to take it. So in the end, I think it's gone. I will say this, and I said this on my morning show this morning on SiriusXM, that if I'm the Big 12, maybe I try to get my 8 members and potentially a few others that can sell the conference to the streaming services, because I believe what's happening right now is ESPN is fighting their rivals, which is no longer Fox. It's Amazon. It's Facebook. It's those types of streaming services that want to get in, and so ESPN's trying to gobble up all the inventory so they can put it on ESPN Plus.
Right.
And if I'm the Big 12, I band some folks together and say, all right, look, we're going to be together. We're not what we used to be, but we're going to be really attractive to newbies in the broadcasting game. And those are all the streaming services. And I think that is probably the only way that the conference gets saved. And I would be shocked if Bob Bowlesby doesn't discuss that in their meeting this afternoon.
So do you think, is the Big Ten kind of the next one? Because that would be where most of the teams would want to go, but now they're not going to be very interested. So are they the next ones that kind of really have to make the decision on what they want to do?
I don't think they're the next one. I think the Pac-12 is the next one that has to decide. But I think the Big Ten, I mean, it's Kevin Warren, so who knows what he's thinking. But I would imagine they're standing pat for now. They can't get Notre Dame because Notre Dame's locked into the ACC in terms of negotiations, at least right off the bat. So they can't get Notre Dame. Did they go after Iowa State? They probably kicked those tires. They probably already have because Iowa State has the natural rivalry with Iowa. They're members of the American Association of Universities, which is big for the Big Ten. So I would imagine they kind of kicked the tires a little bit, but no. Do I think they're going to be aggressive? No. But, obviously there need to be about 7 different contingency plans. So I would think Kevin Warren has some of those in place, but that might be presuming a little too much at this point.
So what would happen? This is a real big hypothetical, but it was out there. I think Dennis Dodd had it first about Mike Oresco, and we figured Mike Oresco would be very, very aggressive with these Big 12 remaining schools, that all 8 were contacted. But just for the sake of this discussion, let's say the American was able to lure those remaining 8 in to have this mega conference. You just talked about 4 super conferences putting the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the SEC, and the ACC together. Where would that leave that conference?
It would be, the 5th of the now Power 4, I guess. I think that's what the AAC really needs to do right now. Is it needs to elevate itself into Power 5 status and try to keep Power 5 relevant, which Power 5 designation is not going to be relevant in the future because the access to college football playoff is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's still up in the air as to when. But the designation between Power 5 and Group of 5 is not going to be a huge deal, deep into the future. But if I'm the AAC, I think that's why they're doing it. They want to beef up their entire conference to basically make it a Power 5 conference. And if you gobble up, a lot of those AAC teams, including Memphis and Houston and some of those UCF, you're looking pretty good if you're the AAC. So, I think that would be an option. That's why they're being so aggressive. But again, that only works in a few scenarios. Like that's only responsible in a few scenarios. If you start gobbling up all these schools and nobody wants to watch them because all the money's being, flowing towards the Power 4, then, is it responsible? I don't know. Like that's the biggest thing is that, there are different options that can cause a big chain reaction that can leave certain conferences out in the cold. I don't think the AAC will be that. I think the AAC is powerful enough on its own that it can get a pretty good TV deal and potentially lure a bunch of teams over that are attractive. Not all of them in the Big Eight, I guess we're calling them right now, but they could probably get quite a few.
There's a lot of stuff out there, obviously. Do you believe any of the things that this could cause a delay or maybe even a change in the expanded playoff?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I would imagine, well, the delay is happening. Like, there's no way this thing, well, delay in the sense of if you thought it would happen in 2023. Yeah. There are 3 more years on the contract after that. So could it happen when the contract actually ends? Yeah. But any idea that would happen in 2023 when the third cycle kind of wraps up, there's no way that happens. And as far as the format, Greg Sankey told Dennis yesterday that they weren't in favor of playoff expansion, and this certainly will delay it. And maybe Greg Sankey's playing chess, not checkers, and doing some of this to leave the playoff at 4. I don't know. But I think that changing the format, you can't have, if there aren't 5 power conferences, do you need 6 automatic bids for conference champions? Right. My guess is no.
Mm-hmm. Well, the timing of everything right now is the key, because that will determine how quickly other things happen. In other words, and you know this, if Oklahoma and Texas, like some media members are reporting, will no doubt be a part of the SEC next year, 2022, or there's a big difference between them joining in 2022 and them joining after the contract's done in 2026. Because if it's 2022, then all these things, the American, the Big 12, whether the other power conferences are going to expand, have to happen like yesterday. If it's 2026, you have a little more time.
Yeah, well, and that's why all eyes are on the Mickey Mouse ears right now.
Right.
Because if they can end the Big 12, then all of that stuff can happen. If they can't end the Big 12, is Texas want to shell out $80 million? Is Oklahoma going to want to shell out $80 million? Probably not. And so that's why you hear these, we're committed to lasting in the Big 12 through 2025. But that's all legalese. And if ESPN and Disney can wreck the Big 12, then Oklahoma and Texas are going to be in the SEC next year. I would say that's easier said than done, but at this point, it seems like Disney's winning that battle.
Well, and they usually do because they pretty much control everything. I love the fact it's so funny because all of the statements everybody makes, they have to. It's what they kind of legally can say right now, and it's all of the trying to read this stuff, and it's just so bizarre because these timelines and everything else. Like nobody in the world believes they're all going to happen on those timelines, but all that they have to say what is legally they're kind of legally bound to say right now.
Yeah, 100%. You guys know this. Guess what's undefeated? Billable hours. They are always undefeated. So when lawyers get involved, then the billable hours go up. So that's all this is. It's protecting yourself. It's making sure you don't say something that can come back and hurt you from a legal perspective. And they can say they're going to last through 2025 in the Big 12. I don't think anybody at all expects that. And here's the thing, too. Let's just say the Big 12 does exist. It's going to have to change, obviously. Is it going to want to change and just have, lame duck teams in there?
Yeah.
Even if they're Texas and Oklahoma? I don't know what the business side of that will look like because we don't know what it is yet, but my guess would be no.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If Texas and Oklahoma are forced to be a part of the conference, the contract that exists right now with ESPN and with Fox, the two contracts, it wouldn't change. If they lost, let's say they lost Texas and Oklahoma next season, but they were able to corral a few teams from the American and keep the Big 12 afloat, I would imagine that means an automatic renegotiation with those networks, which would drop their money way below what they would have with Oklahoma and Texas. So the longer they have Oklahoma and Texas, the more money they get. Correct?
Well, yes, and except if Texas and Oklahoma leave and there still is a Big 12, then they're getting $160 million.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
from the exit fees, or okay.
From the exit fees. So
Right.
that's the thing. It's just there's so many moving parts with this, and it's fascinating to see all this go down. But yeah, I mean the Big 12, I think it's in panic mode right now, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if it can responsibly make decisions in a timely fashion, there is still a chance. It's just convincing everybody else to hang on, because it can still be an attractive conference. It's just, I mean, the TV deal is going to suck next time anyway. Like without Texas and Oklahoma, your TV deal is going to go down, but it can still be attractive given the right partner.
Barrett, where do you stand on if they don't add any more? The alignment for the new SEC, do you like the pods? Do you just like the East-West? How would you like to see it set up?
Pods is not possible, because then you'd have a semifinal between two SEC teams, and you would have to eliminate a game in the regular season.
That's what I brought up. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's not happening. The East-West thing, I hate geographic divisions in all sports at all levels. So I don't like that. I think the mindset is to do away with divisions altogether and have a certain set number of permanent opponents. That would, I think it should be 2. That way, Tennessee can play Alabama and Georgia, Florida, I don't know, one of those 2. And then you rotate around after that. You lose some rivalries, but the coaches they don't like the fact that you don't get to see a lot of these opponents in your own conference if you play for 4 years. And if you have essentially 7, make it a 9-game conference schedule. If you have 7 rotating games every single year, you're going to see the whole conference. Maybe not at their place, but you're going to see the whole conference.
Do you think they'll go to 9 games?
Yes. After last year and the success they had with 10, yes, they will go to 9.
Barrett, great stuff as always. I know you're busy. Thank you so much for your time. We looking forward to talking with you in the fall, and it's right around the corner. Camps open up, I think, next week, and here we are on the precipice of the start of August. So we're right there, and a lot more is going to happen. It's going to be a very exciting time. We appreciate it, man. Keep up the great work.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Barrett.
Thanks, Barrett.
Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. That's 901-438-5084. Or online at newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, different plans and options to suit your budget. Whether it's a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option, they'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that roof fixed. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing, so business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, this goes for homeowners obviously as well, call Brandon. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. This is a locally owned and operated business. They do carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters. Brandon, in fact, is a certified shingle installer. If you have shingles down, he can put them up for you. Fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you can't do yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Quality work at a very good price. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Do what I do. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, or check them out online at newroofmemphis.com. The Grizzlies also made a few other moves as well, not as far as the draft itself, but after the draft. We'll discuss that. We'll get back into the draft talk. Brad the Knight still to come at 12:05. And your texts on what the Grizzlies did last night. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Mid-South Hobbies has your favorite model airplanes, boats, race cars, and trains to build. With brands you know like Lionel, LGB, and a large selection of Traxxas radio-controlled trucks, cars, and boats. Mid-South Hobbies has all the accessories to make them complete, with thousands of paint colors to make them shine. Reach the sky with rockets and kites, or reach deep into your imagination with action figures, comic book superheroes, and fantasy quest games. Get passionate about your hobby at Mid-South Hobbies. 4862 Summer Avenue, open 7 days a week. Call 901-682-9402.
It's time to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. Get up and go in a 2021 Kia Rio 41 MPG Highway 0% and $239 a month. 2021 Kia Forte 0% and $268 a month. And get all-weather rugged and ready in 2022 Seltos $334 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get top dollar for your Kia trade today and trade up at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All $29.99 due at signing. Rio Forte 60 months at 0%. Rio ME 403 MSRP 17,315. Forte ME 379 469. MSRP 19,040. Seltos N 724 718 166 months at 1.9%. MSRP 24,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance with KMF for low APR. Excludes tax, file, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/2/2021. Dealer stock only.
Golf enthusiast, looking for new golf greens? Got it. New and exciting Cypress View Golf and Recreation, just over the Mississippi River in Marion, Arkansas. Cypress View Golf and Recreation, absolutely gorgeous. Your first tee, you're looking at cypress trees a mile long in between a small lake. Give it your best shot. Feel like you're on vacation. Located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion, Arkansas. It's the new semi-private pro golf club. Cypress View Golf and Recreation has a new golf pub with tons of new food items for breakfast and lunch. Choose from Philly cheesesteak sandwich, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. Take advantage of Cypress View Golf and Recreation's new membership for unlimited golf, 7 days a week, only $199 plus tax. Call Pro Mark today at 870-739-6305 at Cypress View Golf and Recreation.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Ruddock Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day, group play, and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Like a coin in your mint, I am tempted.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Take me to the pilot for control. The pilot of your soul.
Big thanks to Barrett Lee for joining us on the program today. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll get back heavy into the draft and the Grizzlies and other moves that were made last night. Also, Major League Baseball trade deadline is today. A lot of big moves have already been made, more expected. It's also the entry deadline to enter the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational, which will take place next week. We'll be out there broadcasting live from 10 to 6, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday inside the hub at TPC Southwind. But again, the deadline is today. Also, we'll have a Summer Games update from Westwood 1 as we'll head to Tokyo at 11:20. Jonathan Gavoni, Eli, has his mock draft already posted for 2022, and he has Memphis Tigers guard Earl Timberlake slotted for number 23 overall. He also has Memphis target Jalen Duren going 4th overall. How about that?
I would imagine your mock draft has LeBron Timberlake at number 1 overall.
Haven't done one yet, but he'll certainly be top 10. All right, so the Grizzlies also, according to reports, made a couple of other moves after the draft was over. They had signed Yves Pons from the University of Tennessee, and then DePaul's Romeo Weems. Are you familiar with Romeo Weems from DePaul?
I am not.
He has reportedly signed an Exhibit 10 contract with the Grizzlies. Of course, the Summer League starts next week, does it not? In Las Vegas? It's a quick turnaround.
It's very quick. I can't remember what when their first game exactly is. But yeah, it's Yves Pons, I think, is worth taking a swing at.
I think so too.
Super athletic guy. They did not get my guy, Trendon Watford. He is signing a 2-way deal with the Blazers. I would have loved to have had him on a 2-way deal, but yeah, I mean, Yves Pons is super athletic, great defender. Somewhat limited offensively, but I think a guy worth taking a look at.
Well, Tennessee had a nice night. They didn't have 3 drafted, but they did have 2 drafted. The Knicks at 21 via the Mavericks got Keon Johnson, but then he was traded to the Clippers. And then later in the first round, the Sixers took Jaden Springer. So 2 Vols going in the first round. And again, Yves Pons not drafted, but reportedly signed by the Grizzlies. By the way, and we discussed this yesterday before, last night's draft, and it's happened, and it happens because of the timing. I understand the schedule and when you can announce and when you can't announce and when the free agency period begins. It needs to be overhauled. The NFL draft is so much better than the NBA draft. The NBA draft can be so much better, but it's so confusing. You don't know who's drafting for who. Guys got the wrong caps on because they can't announce the trade officially. You have graphics that don't correspond with where the player's really going. At the end of the night, I threw up my arms and I go, I don't know where the hell anybody's going anymore. So I think there's a way to make it better and more appealing than NBA draft.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, to me, there's got to be a way that they can basically okay these trades, even though they technically can't take effect till the new year starts, because it's ridiculous. I mean, there were literally probably 20 guys last night at least who were drafted, and they're being announced for a team that they're being drafted by, and everybody knows they're actually not going to that team. You got the Knicks fans there in the building who are going crazy.
Including Spike Lee.
Even though that guy's not even being drafted by them. And I feel bad for the guys on TV because they got to try. Kendrick Perkins at the end of the first round was talking about, I don't remember who it was, but he kept talking about, it was Phoenix. Phoenix drafted who was being traded somewhere else.
Right.
And Day'Ron Sharpe. And he's talking about how under Monty Williams and all this stuff, he could really develop. And it's like, dude, I get it. Like, I'm not criticizing you because I wouldn't be able to do it either. But like literally, they just got done saying he's being traded to the Nets. So like you're talking about all this, the culture in Phoenix and developing under Monty Williams. He ain't never going to Phoenix. So, but I feel bad for those guys trying to keep it all straight. Like I don't know. I'm talking about this guy, and who the hell did you say he's playing for? Because he's wearing a Phoenix hat right now. I don't know what the heck where he's actually going to be playing.
Yeah, when the broadcasters who are right there are confused, we're obviously at home confused with what's going on. They can make it a lot more entertaining. I mean, the most entertaining part was Kendrick Perkins screwing up Moses Moody, and then when he got to any other tough name, just saying, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name.
Ever do it when you look at Moses Moody.
I mean, That was the most entertaining part.
I don't know why he couldn't get that out. That's not the tough name. I don't know why he was that thing was just making him have so many struggles.
Perkins had some issues. Vucevic was one he had a big struggle with last year.
I thought he was entertaining though. Like he was the reason I watched ESPN over ABC. Honestly, I was like I think he made it entertaining. He was fun.
Okay, two things. One. And I was talking to Gabe about him. Yeah, he is. I mean, he is entertaining. He's trying to be kind of Barkley. He'll never be Barkley. Nobody will be Barkley. But he was a little bit refreshing. I mean, it was a stale broadcast. Obviously, they have a great conductor in Reese Davis. But even Jay Billis, I think his shtick has worn thin. And then you had – but the best line was the commissioner, Adam Silver, when he turned around and ad-libbed, I'm just reading this. That was but it could be more entertaining. I forgot that So who was on ABC? I didn't even think about ABC. I just had it on ESPN.
ABC was I can't remember the guy who was
Jalen Rose on there?
Jalen Rose, and then the girl, and I'm not going to try and pronounce her name. I always butcher that. And
I know who you mean.
And ABC was and another reason I watched ABC. I kind of flipped back and forth early. ABC was doing the interviews with the prospects, or the guys that were there right after they got drafted. I don't like listening to those because I don't think there's ever anything interesting. They had Malika Andrews doing interviews with the draft picks. ESPN wasn't doing that, so that was another reason I watched ESPN. But Perkins, to me, was way more entertaining anyway.
Well, on ESPN, again, I forgot it was on ABC too. I didn't know. I watched the ESPN version the whole time, and then the pre-draft coverage, I couldn't tell if it was a little kid or it was some short man. But he was interviewing Cade Cunningham. You know what I'm talking about? Before it started.
I did not watch any of the pre-draft stuff.
I think it was a kid, and they threw this kid a bone. I'm not sure. I don't want to make fun of the kid. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what was going on. But he asked Cade Cunningham 3 questions, and he asks him, and then Cade starts to answer him. He interrupts him the whole time. I mean, it was just, what are you doing? We tell the kid to let the guy answer the question. And that, I think, was the only interview I ever saw the kid do. But then again, I don't know. Maybe he did some more in another forum. But it was not good coverage. The whole thing by the NBA is screwed up with the scheduling, where you just have guys with different hats that are going to different teams and the graphics don't match up. But we'll try to decipher it all, dissect it all. We'll continue talking NBA draft to kick off hour number 2. We'll have our summer games update at 11:20. We'll get into the Major League Baseball trade deadline, which happens today, 3 o'clock Central. And then Brevin Knight at 12:05. Let's see what he has to say now about Zaire Williams and what the Grizzlies did last night. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Magic in Memphis. Excellence delivered. Where the world comes to showdown. To be the king of Grind City. Today's stars, tomorrow's legends. Taking care of business. Compete to conquer the world. Don't miss the World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational. August 5th through 8th. For more information, visit WGCFedEx.com. Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981.9%, MSRP $20,685, Sportage in 79,795.40, 0% MSRP $26,060, K5 NGO 950.54.9%, MSRP $25,840, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon. and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Looking for some action on your favorite games? Action247.com is at your service. Action 24/7 free-to-play games are brought to you by Tennesseans for Tennesseans. Come play with us online at Action247.com. Our free-to-play games are fun and easy. Go to Action247.com and click Let's Play. And best of all, you can win cash prizes. That's right, cash prizes. Free to play online at Action247.com. You got action.
Everyone needs help sometimes. If you know of a man who needs help, John 316 Ministries is a spiritual boot camp for men with drug and alcohol addictions. There is no cost for the program to any man suffering from addiction. The only requirement is to be broken and willing to learn a new way of life. Go to john316thecure.com to find out more. Remember, there is hope. John 316 Ministries. We don't offer treatment, we offer the cure.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody, on this glorious Friday. 11:03 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. Officially the Friday, July 30th, 2021 edition of the program. When we come back for our next show, it'll be August, for goodness sakes. Time is flying by. It's been an interesting first hour, to say the least. Barrett Salih joined us to talk college football landscape, obviously the Grizzlies, which we'll dive back into, and the whole NBA draft. Brevin Knight still to come at 12:05. Well, the Summer Games update coming up at 11:20 from Westwood One. Second hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers, and every Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know there have been 53 players from the University of Memphis, of course Memphis State as well, that have been selected in the NBA draft? 15 of them have been selected in the first round. Now, since the year 2000, 8 players have been selected in the first round. James Wiseman, Precious Achiuwa, Elliott Williams, Tyreek Evans, Derrick Rose, Rodney Carney, Sean Williams, and DeJuan Wagner. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Give them a call at 901-767-9648. They are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Not only diamonds, but all kinds of silver and gold. They'll buy your silver and gold, lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so much more. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com.
Some texts here, and if you want to chime in on the draft last night and your thoughts on what the Grizzlies did with their 2 selections that they made, you can text us, 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. You can also call us on that number as well. That's 901-360-8255. We did get a text. We're talking about Kendrick Perkins. Somebody very succinctly just says, Perkins is an idiot. Okay. I actually was entertained by him. I thought he made it. I thought he was pretty fun to watch. So I have no problem with Kendrick Perkins.
Look, some of the things he said I thought were dead on. Other things, not so much.
Ron says, looks like the Grizzlies got a couple of projects. Could be great in 3 years or bust. Yeah, I mean, this was a different draft than what we've seen this front office do. The other drafts, they have been drafting guys to play right away. Experienced guys. This draft, they took a couple of swings.
But my question
we'll see if those connect or not.
Yeah, but my question is, if this is supposedly, I'm using the air quotes if you can't see me, if you're not watching me, just listening. If this is supposedly one of the great drafts, like the possibility of one of the great drafts, then why do you take a big swing at a guy who struggled and has been hurt when seemingly there's other guys on the board that are good enough to make people think that this is going to be a great draft?
Because they like these. I mean, what can make it a great draft is if these guys, like the Zaire Williams, turn out to be what people think they can be. Like, that's what will make it a great draft, is the guys all develop into that. I mean, you're drafting a bunch of 19-year-olds. It relies on people to develop into what people are projecting them to be. Well, that's what can make it a great draft.
It's obvious they don't believe that the guys that were available when they picked at 10, Book Knight, Moody, and some of these other guys are going to be standouts in the NBA. Or they pick them.
They could. They just think that Zaire Williams is going to be better than them.
No, but again, he's more of a project, and he's also you're taking a chance. Wouldn't you rather go for – nothing's a surefire thing, but wouldn't you go for the higher percentage of making it a hit as opposed to a miss? That's all I'm saying.
No, they're going for the higher ceiling. They think he has the – they probably think, well, those guys might be better now, but we're going for the guy who we think has the high ceiling that could develop into a star in the league.
Okay. I just don't remember tons of people who do this for a living talking about how great Zaire Williams is going to be in the NBA, and even coming out of high school, while he was highly regarded, after that floundering first and only year at Stanford, everybody seemed to jump ship on the guy. So
everybody all say pretty much the same thing: high risk, high reward. Could be a dud or could end up being great because he's got a lot of physical tools. So I mean, that they're taking the swing. Ron also points out that Watford and Matthew Hurt did not get drafted. Yeah, again, Watford I knew would not get drafted. Nobody had him getting drafted, but he did sign the 2-way deal with Portland, unfortunately, because I would have loved to have had him.
And Hurt, I still question why he didn't go back to Duke for another year. I mean, that's a guy who all of a sudden he goes to Duke for a sophomore year and is knocking down 40% from three or something like that and becomes a little bit better defender. He's going to go maybe late first round. Instead, he doesn't get picked. I didn't understand that one.
Raider Corey says, I was a little underwhelmed after the draft last night. I was really excited when both Book Knight and Moody were there at 10. But when they made the selection, all I could think about was the Raiders drafting Cleveland Farrell at number 4. But I think we have to give the front office the benefit of the doubt because they've made some shrewd moves in the last couple of drafts. Again, I was just a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
I think that's what most people were. Underwhelmed, disappointed.
But now they're again, the seven stages of grief. They are trying to tell themselves this morning that, you know what? I understand. I understand where the move. You can still be critical and hope that it comes through and that you're wrong, especially if you do sports talk. Other people, they're just kind of bowing to what they did. I mean, if you don't think it was a real good move, you're entitled to that opinion. But again, you could and hopefully will be wrong for the sake of the Grizzlies if you have that opinion.
Well, I mean, first of all, if anybody's like, I mean, it's the Aldama or whatever, like if anybody's talking about him like they have any idea,
I know.
like then you're just There's none of you, nobody. You did not watch Loyola of Maryland play. You didn't. you didn't know. You've never heard of the guy. You have no idea what he is or anything about that. And he probably isn't even going to be playing for the Grizzlies for 2 or 3 years anyway.
You have to dissect who the BSers are and who aren't. I told you the story about the guy in Washington, D.C.
Let's not act like everybody watched a bunch of Stanford basketball.
Exactly.
That's why I asked Brevin Knight, because I knew Brevin Knight had watched Stanford basketball. I value Brevin's opinion because I knew he watches Stanford basketball games way more than I watch Stanford basketball games.
When I looked at this, I looked at the numbers and I thought about what Brevin said, and then I read about what other people said. It was all off of other opinions. I had not seen this guy one time. And the guy from Spain, never saw him, okay? I never watched Loyola of Maryland basketball. But there are some people that did. There are obviously people that I guarantee you Fran Fraschillo, who's been on the show, knows this guy and can give you a great evaluation.
Well, yeah, I mean, those guys, that's their
and he
job.
does international. Right. But there's other people in the media that they'll try to BS you. They'll tell you that they don't know.
Nobody in Memphis watched that dude play.
Exactly.
If you could have said that he never, none of them even knew he played. When that name was announced, just the name, not one person here in Memphis knew he played college basketball. They thought he was a foreign guy playing overseas.
No question.
They did not know he played college
basketball.
basketball.
No question about it.
So if you're trying to act like you watched him or anything like that, you're just lying.
Right.
Few things about the draft last night. The Spurs, we talk about the benefit of the doubt that we got to give this front office because they've been pretty good. The Spurs obviously have been one of the great drafting teams of all time. Josh Primo at number 12 threw me for a loop. You talk about coming out of the blue. That one, I was like, what? I mean, he's good. He's extremely young, but at number 12,
you could argue he was the third best player on the team, on Alabama's team. But again, you're right. You give the Spurs front office the benefit of the doubt.
And then everybody knows I love Davion Mitchell. I talked about he was one of my 2 favorite players in college basketball. I absolutely love the dude. He is awesome. But the Kings, I just don't understand what they're doing.
They don't understand.
You have De'Aaron Fox, you have Tyrese Halliburton, and now you go draft another point guard.
I know.
What?
It's like the year Minnesota.
There's a reason you have the longest playoff drought in the NBA. Like what are you doing? Again, I love the guy. I absolutely love him, and I wait to watch him play in the NBA. But what are you doing?
It's like the year Minnesota took 3 point guards. Well, again, this goes to need versus best player available. Did they think that they couldn't pass up on the guy because he was that much better than everybody else remaining in the draft? I can't believe that's the case. So you got to go a little bit more to need there. That was head scratching. No question about it.
I thought the Warriors were. And part of it was a little luck that Moody fell to him for the second pick. But, man, the Warriors, I thought, came out great because now they are set up with some really good young talent. Or if they want to trade some of that to get somebody to help them win right now, I mean, with James Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody that you can do some things with, they're either set up for the future and guys who may be able to help you a little bit now, or you've got guys you can move to get that veteran to help you win right now.
Kuminga, Moody in the draft. You get Klay Thompson back, of course. Yeah, there were rumors out there that they were looking to pull off a blockbuster trade that included Andrew Wiggins and James Wiseman and a bunch of draft picks. Was that the Ben Simmons one that was out there that being rumored? Was that Golden State that Philly turned down?
It might have been that.
Or Philly wanted too
Warriors
much.
Were talked about. There were thought that maybe if Bradley Beal did end up getting moved, they would be in that mix. There was a lot of stuff that they were. Everybody kind of believed the Warriors were trying to do.
Yeah, but I'm with you. The Warriors, and again, another Western Conference team. You look at it and they go, "Wow, they added some good pieces."
The Hornets, to me, now part of it is because they got 2 of the guys that I like, but I mean, I thought the Hornets. And this, I didn't think I'd be saying this. The Hornets, I thought, did fantastic.
They got
Book Knight, who fell to them right in their lap. Which to me, that's probably the best pick of the draft from where you got him.
Mm-hmm.
They get Kai Jones, who I don't love, but where they got him, I think, is worth taking a swing on him. And then they got J.T. Thor in the second round, who was the guy I talked about yesterday, that if the Grizzlies picked at 40 and he was there, I would love to just take a swing at that guy because of the physical abilities he has and see if you could develop him into something. But I thought the Hornets did really well.
Yeah, and then Houston was interesting in the Thunder because I don't know who the hell they ended up getting, those two. But
Houston came out, I think, really good. The Thunder, they're trying to set a record for most first-round picks in the history of the NBA over like a 10-year period.
Yeah, who did they end up drafting? Because it seemed like every move went to somebody else, and they ended up getting more picks. I think they have 1,000 first-round picks over the next 2 years. It's just crazy. But yeah, I'm with you as far as Houston. Obviously, you start off with Jalen Green. So you get
Green. By the way, he was looking good.
He looked great.
That suit, man, that's bold. That's a bold move right there.
There were a lot of very interesting
I can't pull that
suits.
off. I cannot pull that suit off. I don't have that in me. I don't have that. I don't have the ability to pull that suit off. No. Jalen Green pulled it off well.
Those guys with their bodies the way they are, they can pull anything off. They can pull any color, any style. They all looked good. Their families looked great. That was the one part I really, really liked. I enjoyed that, the introduction at the beginning. But yeah, I look, Houston, they got those. They got the foreign guys, right?
Yeah, they got both Garuba and Şengün.
Yeah, so
and then they got Josh Christopher.
And then Giddy, interesting that he went 6 to Oklahoma City. So they're looking at him. They still have what's his name? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
So, are they going to play Giddy along with him, or are they looking to make a trade? I think that could be a really interesting backcourt because we had that conversation with who was on recently that talked about Giddy combined with John Morant. We had Matt Babcock talking about that. There was the little move at 4, which was a little surprising. Toronto going Scotty Barnes and not Jalen Suggs, who was penciled in at 4, and then Suggs dropping down to Orlando at 5.
Yeah, I was certainly surprised by that, but a lot of people love Barnes just because of the size and kind of versatility and the way he defends and all that stuff. And I think he certainly, it's just crazy to think that Montverde team that played here in the Hoop Fest a couple years ago with 4 first-round draft picks on it. I mean, it's insane, including 2 of the top 4 guys drafted, 4 first-round picks overall. Like that, I'm telling you, like watching that team play, that was like incredible. And I was there that night. I mean, it was just there. They were pure insanity. And to think one team can produce that, literally 2 years later, there's 4 of those guys drafted in the first round.
Right. Atlanta got Jalen Johnson, who, again, we were talking about him yesterday. He was at a ton of different high schools. He didn't pan out in his first year with Duke, but he has all the potential in the world. I mean, that seems like a better – if you're going to take a chance and take a swing, Jalen Johnson sounds like a better swing than Zaire Williams, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. And then didn't they get Cam Thomas as well?
No, Sharif Cooper. They got Sharif Cooper, which was perfect because that's like he's another Trae Young type guy. Like I thought Cam Thomas went to the Nets, which I think that's a perfect fit too because that offense is obviously built on just guys who need the ball in their hands and could go make plays for you, make shots for you. It's exactly what Cam Thomas is. Like they are just loading that team with guys who could just beat you one-on-one and go score on you.
Well, they traded Landry Shamet. I don't know if it was Bobby Marks or Woj who talked about it yesterday. The money that is now going to be that they're going to have to dish out for Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden leaves like really no money for the rest of the team. So you got to figure out who are the backups. I know that Bruce Brown is going to be is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's going to be a free agent. They probably won't have him. Shamet, as I said, just got traded, but now you bring in a rookie. You bring in a guy who can score the basketball.
He is a big-time scorer. He is something. And then they get Sharp as well as a big. So I actually thought they did all right as well. I still can't believe Jared Butler fell to number 40. I know there's the medical concerns, but man, oh man. I like the idea that he went at 40. I so wish the Grizzlies would have been still picking at 40.
Yeah, they
would have made that pick.
There were a few guys that I was real interested in to see. I like the Livers kid. You talked about him yesterday from Michigan, who really had a good season under Juwan Howard.
Well.
He was available. So, yeah, it's really interesting. But again, the proof will be in the pudding in the coming years. We'll talk more about the draft when we return. We'll also have Brevin Knight on with us at 12:05 to analyze what the Memphis Grizzlies did last night in the NBA draft. But right now, we head to Tokyo, Japan for a Summer Games update from Westwood One.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2020 Summer Games. It was a nail-biter in Tokyo this morning, but women's soccer star Megan Rapinoe came through in the clutch. Following a 2-2 draw after extra time, Rapinoe went top corner in a penalty shootout to help the U.S. women's soccer team advance to the semifinals, beating the Netherlands in penalties 4-2. U.S. goalie Alyssa Nair blocked 2 of the 4 attempts from the Dutch. Up next, the U.S. women play Canada in the semifinals. In tennis, Germany's Alexander Zverev advanced to the men's gold medal match, defeating Serbia's Novak Djokovic in 3 sets, snapping Djokovic's 22-match winning streak. The U.S. baseball team won its opener, knocking off Israel 8-1. The U.S. women's basketball team stretched its Summer Games winning streak to 51 games, defeating Tokyo 86-69. The U.S. women's water polo captain Maggie Steffens broke the Olympic record with a goal in the third period to help Team USA beat ROC 18-5. With this Summer Games update, I'm Erica Herskowitz, Westwood One Sports.
At Wrangler, we know that life is all about taking the reins, no matter what's in front of you or which way the road turns. Because life is one big glorious ride, and Wrangler jeans are made to handle every step of it. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's a repetitive ad. Okay. Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition, so to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's a repetitive ad. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is ATG by Wrangler. Before your next adventure, you better check your gear. UV protection, water repellent fabric, durable comfort stretch, check. ATG by Wrangler. Gear that doesn't compromise. Shop Wrangler.com.
Get your day off to a great start with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, Memphis, thinking about buying a truck or SUV? Then come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. Want a red truck, black truck, white truck? How about a blue truck? Black wheels, chrome wheels. Come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, extended cab, crew cab. Want a lifted truck? Come to the Sunrise Truck Corral. Want a diesel? How about a gas engine? Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Jeep, GMC, Toyota. We got them all at the Sunrise Truck Corral, the only dedicated truck lot in Memphis. Can't find a truck you like? Call, click, or come in. We'll find you the dream truck. Sunrise Truck Corral, Old Hummer Building on Highway 64 in Bartlett. We make it fun to buy a truck.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Magic in Memphis. Excellence delivered. Where the world comes to showdown. To be the king of Grind City. Today's stars, tomorrow's legends. Taking care of business. Compete to conquer the world. Don't miss the World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational. August 5th through 8th. For more information, visit WGCFedEx.com.
Southern Airways, we fly to make your day.
Memphis' hometown airline, Southern Airways, is offering a sizzling summer deal. For this July only, flights from Memphis to Harrison-Branson, Hot Springs, and El Dorado, Arkansas have a promotional fare starting at just $19. Fly over the interstate traffic and bypass the bridge delays on one of Southern's flights to Arkansas. Catch a concert in El Dorado, hit the lake in Hot Springs, or fly to Harrison and make the easy drive to Branson or even to Fayetteville. Flying Southern is easy with no TSA screening hassles and free parking at Signature Flight Support. Don't forget, Southern service to Destin has returned for its 9th summer season. So if you're planning a trip to the Emerald Coast, visit iflysouthern.com to reserve your seats today.
At Southern Airways,
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
It's time to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. Get up and go in a 2021 Kia Rio 41 MPG Highway 0% and $239 a month. 2021 Kia Forte 0% and $268 a month. And get all-weather rugged and ready in 2022 Seltos $334 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get top dollar for your Kia trade today and trade up at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All $29.99 due with signing. Rio Forte 60 months at 0%. Rio ME 403 610. MSRP 17,315. Forte ME 379 469. MSRP 19,040. Seltos N724 718 166 months at 1.9%. MSRP 24,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance with KMF for low APR. Excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/2/2021. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Some interesting comments made by Oklahoma President Joe Haraz, which we'll get to in just a second, but continuing with draft talk, we haven't even discussed yet the big trade that happened yesterday as the Lakers acquired Russell Westbrook from the Wizards. They get Russell Westbrook and 2024-2028 second-round picks for Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and a 2021 first-round pick. So Westbrook with LeBron and Anthony Davis in Tinseltown.
Yeah, we'll see how this works. Think about Russell Westbrook now. Russell Westbrook will have played with Kevin Durant, James Harden, Bradley Beal, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis.
How many championships?
He's got 0.
Yeah.
He's still
But I
stuck,
like
on,
him.
stuck on the donut. But he's got a lot of triple doubles. I don't know. We'll see how it works. That's I don't quite understand it, but we shall see.
Yeah, I just Gabe and I were talking before we came back from the break about the financial situation with Westbrook, LeBron, Davis, and then with the Nets, I just talked about the situation with the big three that all are in line to get these new deals with Durant and Irving and Harden, and that the Nets, I think it came out to like $540 million. I think is what I saw on the graphic last night during the draft coverage. And Shamet traded, Dinwiddie, they'll have to trade him. He comes back from injury. I don't know if they'll have enough to field, enough money to field the rest of the team. But the point is, like, how do they do that? How do they financially make it work?
They pay luxury tax. I mean, they're
just
like
simple as that, right?
I mean, they just gave up. They obviously had to give up the money in that trade. That's why they had to include all those 3 guys and all that. But I mean, and then you sign a bunch of league minimum guys and stuff like that. I mean, that's if you're willing to pay the luxury tax, and you've got those guys already there, then you can make it happen.
Those guys better go out and get every spot-up shooter on the vet minimum that they can. Because,
Exactly.
my gosh, they'll live at the rim. There's no question about it, but they better find some shooting.
There's steep penalties for going into the luxury tax, right, for going over and having to pay the luxury tax. There's steep penalties. They should make those penalties steeper because I'm not sure if you guys are a fan of the super teams, but I'm not. And maybe with even steeper, harsher financial penalties, even the richest of the rich wouldn't be able to pay the luxury tax. So I don't know. Maybe something for the future.
The 2 teams in the finals weren't super teams. So
no, it's an anomaly.
Well, is it?
Well, small markets winning NBA titles? Not usually, but it was, as you said, after the Bucks won, a victory for all small markets, including the Memphis Grizzlies. And turning this back to the Grizzlies, did you expect anything with Bledsoe to happen on draft night?
No.
So do you think this is going to come down to them buying him out, just simply buying him out if they can't trade him?
If they can't trade him, yeah, that's what it will end up happening.
How many under contract now? I mean, again, this guy from Spain is probably going to be, like you said, draft and stash. So you lose Valanciunas, you get Adams. If you buy out Bledsoe, you're still even, but then you add Zaire Williams. That's another player under contract. I thought maybe we'd see another deal where one of the wings would be traded. There were the rumors of Tyus Jones. There was the rumors of Brandon Clark. None of that came to fruition. I'm sure they were working those phones till their hands were raw last night. But, again, the Grizzlies, if you want to comment on the moves they made, I know certainly there's some spinning going on. But, yes, I'm going to certainly give Zach Kleiman and Tayshaun Prince and the rest of the powers the benefit of the doubt. They deserve the benefit of the doubt. But you could still be questioning and critical of the picks. And we'll see what Brevin Knight has to say when he joins us at 12:05.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a little different. These are just different guys that we've seen this front office go for.
Right.
But they were picking number 10, too. So it wasn't like the end of the first round or late or early second round guys where they've gone for the veteran type player. In the top 10, they may have just felt that that's a position where we want to take a big time swing at somebody and see if we can hit on it. And if they do hit, hey, great, that'd be awesome. If it's a miss completely, then that's trouble because you hate to waste top 10 picks.
Now we get into the summer league, but more importantly, we get into the free agency period as well. And it may not be a busy time for the Grizzlies, but it still will be busy around the NBA. I know the look into 2022 and next summer with the free agents that will be available seems like it's a lot more out there. But there still will be moves made. And there still could be trades made, and that's what everybody's waiting to see. Will the Sixers, who want so much for Ben Simmons, and understandably so, will they be able to make a move? It looks like, according to everything I read last night, Bradley Beal wants to stay in Washington for some reason. And, other moves that are out there. Did I not see a Ricky Rubio trade yesterday? Did that happen?
Yes.
He's been traded like 10 times, hasn't he?
Well, he's been all over the league, yeah.
But other than that, there wasn't a ton of – there were small trades. I think Aaron Holiday was involved in a trade with the draft pick as well. We mentioned the Landry Shamet trade. But the big one, obviously, Russell Westbrook. Can it work with LeBron and Anthony Davis? One thing's for sure. You know that LeBron was riding Anthony Davis. Russell Westbrook, I mean, he does not give up any play. You can love him, hate him, whatever. I mean, I respect him. I respect Russell Westbrook because he plays hard. And he had all nice things to say in his goodbye on social media to Washington. Loved it there, loved his time. But Russell Westbrook will not back down. He will not slow down. You're going to have to play every second you're on the court with Russell Westbrook. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll work, but it's interesting. All right, let's talk about, mentioned earlier that Texas had already responded to yesterday's SEC vote to vote in and to invite Texas and Oklahoma. Texas had the presser this morning accepting that, and then Oklahoma just did it recently. So their president, Joe Haraz Jr., a few of the comments that he had to say. He said, many schools vying for a limited number of spots in the SEC. Interesting. Many schools vying for a limited number of spots in the SEC. Is the limit meaning 2, and now it's full? Or are there more spots? He also said, move to the SEC, absolutely necessary for a school to have athletics program it wants, and for athletics program to get exposure OU wants without school having to subsidize program or charge student fee for athletics? Were they in that dire of a situation financially? Oklahoma? But that's what Mraz had to say. He also said that the school thought a lot about Oklahoma State, but staying with OSU is not something the market we're pursuing allows. But OU wants the Bedlam rivalry to continue after Oklahoma leaves for the SEC. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Dennis Dodd tweets out, he said, so if I'm getting this straight, the OU president right now is blaming an outdated rights contract, DVRs, NIL, antitrust suits, cord cutting, time slots, ESPN Plus, COVID, ESPN refusing to negotiate early, Austin Emmert Congress as reasons for going to the SEC. And Barrett, who just joined us, Barrett Salih, as in kickoff time, money, food, cord cutting, Golden Flake, tumbleweed, federal government, Dr. Pepper, Canada. Canada, you would blame Canada. NIL, Twitter, weather patterns, Bob Bowlesby, cooler stadium light shows. Jeez. I got to listen to Haraz's press conference. He must have went off.
I know a lot of people talk about the fact that he did bring up the 11 o'clock kickoffs and how I think his quote was that it has become clear that the Big 12 was last in line on as far as media rights or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way,
SEC is definitely first in line.
They're first in line. First in line for everything. Yeah, and the conclusion, OU Board of Regents approves the move to the SEC. So Oklahoma and Texas are now members of the Southeastern Conference. When they can participate is now the big question that will determine an awful lot in college athletics. There are some that are very adamant that it's going to be next year, others 2023, and still others who believe it's going to be hard to pay off to get out of the financial situation they're in right now with contracts with the Big 12 and that they will have to fulfill it. I don't believe that. But
well, all I know is every other time when somebody's wanted to leave, they've ended up leaving immediately.
Exactly. It's very rare when you see somebody like really held to that contract, especially when it's multiple years.
All of those other teams left the Big 12, they all left immediately. So I don't. Again, there will be it's just determining or depends on how the Big 12 wants to play this. First of all, can they even keep themselves together, or do they dissolve and then it's over anyway? It doesn't even matter. But how tough, how hardball do they want to play here with Texas and Oklahoma, and how much money do they need out of them to let this happen?
Exactly. All right. So
and obviously, Bob Bowlesby is not a very happy guy, which I wouldn't be either when I've.
Well,
there's a good chance my
job
job is going to become obsolete. So I wouldn't be very happy either. But he's got his work cut out for him. It's going to be this will be some battles now.
Right. I mean, you have to be pulling out all stops and being desperate and even doing a little finger pointing if you think it'll help you. It won't help in the case of ESPN. I love ESPN's response yesterday to the accusations by Bowlesby. I mean, shot them down real quick. Like basically said, they didn't say this, but dude, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you think we did any of this stuff. Come on. All right, so.
Or it actually, what they meant was, you're crazy if you think you could prove that we did this stuff.
Well, there's that too.
That's what they meant.
There's that too. Jeff Passan is reporting, as we switch now to baseball, that the Toronto Blue Jays are in agreement on a deal to acquire right-hander Jose Barrios from the Minnesota Twins. So that's a big pickup for the Blue Jays, who are not out of the race by any stretch of the imagination. Barrios, good pitcher from Minnesota. Yesterday, if you missed it because of everything that was going on with the NBA draft, of course, the trade deadline, 3 o'clock Central Time today in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers went out and swung a deal. I mean, you thought that Russell Westbrook deal was big. The Dodgers swung a deal with the Nationals and got Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Huh?
It's crazy. They just every year, like if they have any need at all, they don't care about money whatsoever. It just what you give them credit is they have had enough. They've done a great job in building a farm system so that every year that they want to make one of these trades, they're able to do it. You would think at some point, like they just don't have enough guys. They don't have the prospects that you would be able to get, or they'd be able to get these guys.
Right.
But they do. Like they have enough, and so every year that they want to go make a move, they can go do it. And I mean that roster now is insane. Like they literally have an all-star at every position other than catcher. They have a guy who has been an all-star at most of them. They've it's like 3 or 4 MVP awards. They've got 4 Cy Young winners on their staff. It's just
the rich
it's
get
not
richer.
even fair. Like it's for them to. I mean, Trey Turner is like a legit MVP candidate this year, and they go get him. And
he's second in that trade, right? Max Scherzer gets the headline. He gets the.
They lose. You lose out on Trevor. You lose Trevor Bauer, most likely for the rest of the year, maybe forever. So you just go out Max Scherzer to replace him in your rotation for the rest of the season. It's crazy, man. They do whatever they want to do, and they don't even have a position really for Trey Turner necessarily to play, but they're like they really don't. Like I guess he's probably going to play mostly center field for them. I don't know. Like he's not going to play shortstop because Seager's coming back. Like it's just, but they just go get him and they'll figure that out later.
Well, before the season started, we talked about again how the rich get richer. The Dodgers' plethora of pitchers, they were so loaded with their staff that David Price was going to be coming out of the bullpen because May had been moved into the rotation. Walker Buehler, Arias, Clayton Kershaw, for goodness sakes, and Trevor Bauer. Well, you never know what will happen. As Bauer, like you said, has been on the suspended list, and they've had some injuries and things of that nature. And all of a sudden, you can go out there and get Max Scherzer, even if he's a rental for the rest of the season. And they got Danny Duffy. They also went out and got left-hander Danny Duffy from Kansas City.
And I still wonder if they might even still try and get Craig Kimbrell from the Cubs to shore up the back of the bullpen too. Like nothing is out of the question with them when you look at what they are. It's just. Whew.
So they get Scherzer, Turner, Danny Duffy. The Red Sox, by the way, got another Nats player, Kyle Schwarber, the former Cub, who had that unbelievable streak going of home runs earlier this year, which I think Joey Votto now has taken it from him. He's got that streak. But Schwarber goes to Boston, so they have another bat. The Yankees, who already acquired Joey Gallo, did get your boy Anthony Rizzo. They got Vizcaino and Alcantara in that trade, I believe. But Rizzo going to – and that Gabe talked about it yesterday. It's another one of those guys that fits that Yankees mold, right? Anthony Rizzo.
Well, Anthony Rizzo makes a little more contact. He does strike out a lot. Everyone strikes out a lot.
But you know, a big guy, home run hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar guys that they have on the roster, up and down the roster. They don't have enough pitching, the Yankees, but they're going to go ahead and try. They're going to spend their money too. So it's that same half dozen teams that are willing to spend the money and just keep spending and spending and spending.
Yeah, I didn't think the Cubs would actually trade Rizzo. I was a little surprised they decided to end up doing that. But the Yankees wanted left-handed bats. They went out and got 2 left-handed bats. And Rizzo has not been very good this year. He's had an off year for him, but with that short porch there in New York will certainly be a nice addition. Will help him out. But he's a guy that's been he's hurt by the shift. I mean, the shift kills him because if he hits a ground ball, he's out basically. So, but yeah, the Yankees going for it again. They're not afraid to go for it.
Do you expect Bryant to be traded?
Yes.
Okay.
I would be stunned if Bryant. He was the one that I thought Kimbrell. Him and Kimbrell, I would assume will both get moved today.
Yeah, basically 3 hours and change until the deadline happens.
There wasn't a report that there is talk that the Mets could be interested in both Bryant and Baez. And Baez who's talked about he would like to play with Francisco Lindor because they are close friends, but I don't know if the Mets would be able to pull that off or not, or if they would want to. So there's I would expect the Cubs to still be very active over these next few hours. That's for sure.
And then the Rizzo trade, the Cubs pick up the entire contract.
Yes, the rest of this year.
The rest of left
under yet.
Right, the rest of this year.
$5 million.
Why wouldn't the Yankees pick up anything? Just the trade wouldn't happen if they had to pick some up. I don't get that.
Well, the Cubs probably did it because that probably
entices the trade.
It got them better prospects. They
Oh, okay.
we'll pay this if we can get these guys, or the Yankees probably say, well, if we have to pay it, we're going to give you these guys or whatever. I would assume that's what it's. I don't know anything about. One of those guys is 19 years old, and the other was a pitcher who's injured. So it is a. The Cubs are stocking themselves, because all the Yu Darvish guys they got were teenagers. Cubs have the greatest high school team in the history of mankind in their minor leagues. They've got like 10 19-year-old prospects now that they've acquired. Like, they just keep acquiring 19-year-olds.
When we come back, this is there's some football news, some NFL news. I don't know how serious. Could be devastating to me. We'll talk about it when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hey, we understand. With everything that's happening, with all the new regulations, maybe you're not ready to come and hang out at Sweetgrass to catch a ball game. We want you to, we really do. And we're open for you to do just that. But we're also offering the next best thing, the new Sweetgrass Tailgate Party Packs. Whether it's wings, house-made dips, sliders, or other Sweetgrass tasty treats, all you have to do is call us or go to sweetgrassmemphis.com to order just what you're dreaming of when you're dreaming of watching sports and enjoying some sweet, sweet Sweetgrass.
Summer in Memphis is hot and humid. Match that with an inefficient air conditioner, and that equals less comfort inside your home and higher utility bills. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you're frustrated with your current HVAC system, then let us give you a free estimate to make you and your family more comfortable this summer. Right now, Choates and Carrier are offering 60 months no-interest financing on select Carrier HVAC systems. If you're not ready to purchase a new system yet and need Freon to get you through the summer, then go to our website for our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon. If your system hasn't received a maintenance yet, Choates is also offering their $20.99 AC tune-up. So turn to the experts with Choates and call 347-8086 today to take advantage of these specials. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981.9%, MSRP $20,685, Sportage in 79.79.540, 0% MSRP $26,060, K5 NGO 950.54.9%, MSRP $25,840, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Brevin Knight coming up at 12:05. We'll have 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation at 12:30. Got some NFL news I want to get to in just a second. Eli, this is a text from John on Facebook, and I can answer it, but you're Mr. G League man, so go ahead and answer his question. How does this affect the G League for Memphis? How many players get released to make room for all the draft picks?
Well, I mean, they're really, I mean, the G League guys are pretty much all year to year.
And they're separate.
The two-way players from last year, Killian Tilly, I believe, is only a one-year deal. I don't know about, was McDermott the other two-way guy?
Yes.
I don't know about him. But those, like the Exhibit 10 contract they just signed with the one guy, like those are G League guys. But the G League guys, there are some you can bring back, but they're basically all on a year-to-year deal. You're not signing. The G League guys aren't signed for multiple years.
Right, and these draft picks do not affect the G League roster.
Only if they want to put. Yeah, they could send them down, but they're both first-round picks, so they're not going to be G League contracts or anything like that. So if they're here, they can send them down on assignment, but it has nothing to. That's all that is. They just it's just like sending any. They're part of the Grizzlies. These guys are part of the Grizzlies if they are here with the team, and if they're going to go for the play for the G League, that's just on assignment for a brief time or whatever.
Well, this has me concerned. Adam Schefter has tweeted out that Colts quarterback Carson Wentz, the former Eagle, is out indefinitely as he undergoes further testing on a foot injury that he suffered at the end of Thursday's practice. Colts second-year quarterback Jacob Eason took the starter reps at today's practice with rookie Sam Ehlinger as his backup. Let me tell you something. If they lose Wentz, they have to go out and find another quarterback because they are not going to make it with Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger. I like both them as fine as second, third-string guys, but really not to be starters. Especially Ehlinger, who's a rookie, but I think he has more of an upside than Jacob Eason. But gosh, please, don't be a serious injury after just acquiring Wentz in the offseason because the Colts are in position to be a player, a real strong player. Got a great offensive line. The defense is strong.
Load up on the Titans. Load up on the Titans to win the AFC South. That's all I'll say.
It looks that way.
It would appear that way. Yes, indeed. A couple of texts to get to here. One text says, this is from Grizzly Pat. Says, Zaire has a good skill set. Consistency is the issue. Do you think he'll spend time in the G League to work on his game if he will be on the roster as a rotation player to start the season? Well, judging just by the way Zach Kleiman talked about drafting him kind of as a developmental guy, I could see him spending some time with the hustle early in the year especially. And we'll see what other roster moves are made. But right now, I mean, depending on if they make some other trades, like he's not going to get any playing time with the Grizzlies, I wouldn't think right away. There's just not any space there.
Yeah, unless there's a rash of injuries,
and they're going to want him
like
to play. So if there's going to be a good chance he would see some time with the hustle early in the season. If that's the case, they'll want to get him on the court as much as possible.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Another one says, why do Memphis team love projects so much? Well, the Grizzlies haven't been. This front office hasn't drafted projects until now. They've been drafting the veteran college guys who they felt were ready to play right away. So this is a little different for this front office.
Mm-hmm.
The old front office, they didn't draft projects as much as they drafted disasters. They drafted bad projects. They drafted guys who couldn't play in the NBA.
Yeah,
you're all out of the NBA immediately.
No, you're right. The first couple of drafts under this regime, they got guys, they moved up in a position to take guys who can contribute right away. And then you have this draft where they're going out there and throwing haymakers and trying to hope it knocks out their opponent.
Clint texts, he says, does the fact that the Big 12 currently holds autonomous status with the NCAA make any difference? Wouldn't that make them more attractive for other schools to join? Yes, that's the thing. That's what we've talked about with them versus the American, them trying to pluck American teams versus American teams the American trying to plug their teams. There's something to be said for being one of those autonomous conferences. So theoretically, yes, that would make it a little easier for them, but they're still in a tough spot.
Pete Thamel reporting that the Big 12 ADs had a conference call this morning. He says the sentiment in the league, according to sources, is not panicking and sticking together. There's a desire to not react emotionally and give Big 12 leaders the space to evaluate options moving forward. That's what he had to say.
All right, then. New Life Medical Center, 9160 Highway 64. The number, 213-0100, phone number 213-0100. If you want to call to make an appointment to go see them. You don't need an appointment, though. You can walk right in, and they will get you in quickly at New Life Medical Center, doing primary and urgent care to keep you healthy and feeling your best. They've got COVID testing available. They also do testosterone replacement therapy for guys. They treat erectile dysfunction. They've got treatments for low sex drive for women as well. They got weight loss programs that they do. They do a lot of different things keeping folks healthy at New Life Medical Center. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 1 on Saturday as well. Again, it's 9160 Highway 64 to the shops at Stonebridge on Highway 64, not far off of I-40. Go by and see them. If not feeling your best, not feeling well, need some treatment, go see the folks at New Life Medical Center.
Friend of the show, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland tweeting out, I love this. Let's get back to school tomorrow at the Pipkin Building on Tiger Lane from 10 to 2 for students. They're going to have school supplies and backpacks, uniforms, and haircuts, but also COVID-19 vaccinations and school-aged vaccinations. Get everybody vaccinated. That's tomorrow from 10 until 2 at the Pipkin Building. I'm not sure who's eligible, if everybody's eligible or not. Get those details wherever you can, but I'm sure the city of Memphis has them. But that's going to be tomorrow. Let's get back to school. And we'll get back to middays after a short time out. Brevin Knight will join us. He had some pretty critical things to say about Zaire Williams a while back on this show. Will he change his tune? That's coming up in hour number 3, along with 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Also, any updates from the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational, we will give them to you, as today is the entry deadline for next week's event. And, of course, the ever-going Major League Baseball craziness with the deadline coming up today at 3 o'clock Central. Lots going on in the world of sports. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Start your engines, Mid-South. Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike is ready for the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event. Get plenty of pulling power and more standard features than Mazda CX-5 and Ford Escape in your new 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. And hit the road in a 7-passenger 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $259 a month. All powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So don't miss the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, 750 loyalty rebate, 48 months, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Outlander NZO 166.72, MSRP 29,480. Cross NC 003186, MSRP 27,725. Includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Feeling a little punchy? Get your tickets now for the COVID-19 Fight Back Fights, August 7th in Tunica, presented by Jesse Robinson Promotions. See 2 North American Boxing Federation champions, junior belt champ Tyler Durr and super middleweight champ Ryan Adams, plus 6 additional fights. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. in the Paul Battle Arena. That's Saturday, August 7th in Tunica, Mississippi. Tickets start at $40. It's general admission for the COVID Fight Back Fights. Visit ExperienceTunicaCounty.com for tickets.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Everyone's watching to see what you do. Everyone's looking at you.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:03, the time, final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. A little lover boy to usher in our final hour of the week. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Wheaton Road, just north of I-40. Brevin Knight expected to join us here in just a moment. Later on in the hour, we have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. We were talking about, talking to Barrett Salee about the SEC going to 9 more than likely. Tony Barnhart, friend of the show, who will be the speaker, the first speaker this year at the Touchdown Club of Memphis, as he normally is, said the concern with going to 9 is half the league will have 5 home games, the other half will have only 4. Fans go bonkers over the schedule now. If you go to 9, you might as well go to 10, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, that's part of part of the situation. But there's other unbalanced things in the schedule anyway, so it's like
right,
based on your crossover opponents, stuff like that. So it is what it is.
He is the terrific Grizzlies television analyst who played 12 years in the NBA as a point guard after a great career at Stanford University. He's a future Champions Tour golfer. He is our good friend Brevin Knight. You can follow him on Twitter at BrevinKnight22. He joins us now on Middays. Hello, Brev.
What's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. No complaints at all.
None
at all.
Are you doing anything with the tournament next week, or like any of the pro-ams, or are you here in Memphis next week for the WGC?
No, I'm not. And that pro-am is, I think, more so just for FedEx people.
But there's also a Danny Thomas pro-am that I found out just yesterday. It's at Spring Creek Ranch. Penny's involved.
Oh,
Mike Conley's involved. How's Brevin Knight not involved in that one?
Brevin Knight is going to stay on vacation until it is time to get back to work. But I do. Someone did talk to me about doing that, but I can't. I'm going to enjoy relaxing for this moment.
You deserve it. I wish I had that luxury to have that longer vacay, but before too long, you'll be back doing what you do so well. Last night, you were kicking back and watching, like we all were, the draft, and look, I know you were on the air with Eli here not too long ago. I was off. I was on vacation that week, and I know you had some interesting things to say about Zaire Williams. How surprised, by the way, were you that they picked at number 10 after moving up from 17 your Stanford brethren?
Not surprised, because he has been projected as being a top 10 draft pick since before going and playing his freshman year at Stanford. And the one thing that I continue to tell people was, at that time, even now, I didn't know much about him because I didn't watch him play in high school. So I know a lot of people knew him from the Sierra Canyon situation. I didn't watch him play in AAU at all. All I saw was the limited time that I got to see him play when he was with Stanford because of injury. The COVID situation was really hectic for Stanford in terms of not being able to play any home games, always on the road. So it was the circumstances that I got to see of him were very limited. So I should tell people, like, I can't give a true assessment of him as a player just because I haven't seen him play enough. Now, the metrics of what he is and what people say, the type of player that he is, the little glimpses that I saw fits a need that the Grizzlies have.
There's certainly, when you look at just the physical abilities and the build, like, obviously he's got to get stronger. That's the one thing. But, the shooting percentage wasn't. But it's interesting because people talk about what he was in high school, and then when you see the numbers in college, they didn't translate it all to the college game. So how, I guess if it doesn't translate from high school to college, can you kind of get it? Can it translate to the pros from college, even if it wasn't that good?
Well, I think a lot of it, you have to look at the circumstances that it was. And like I said, for Stanford, there were very different circumstances that they never played a home game until the end of the year. So they never had an opportunity to fully work out, never had an opportunity to have real practice time, go to the gym and get your extra shots, do all of the things that you would be able to do if you were at your school, being able to prepare yourself for the season. They didn't have that at all. And so I think that impacted him. That impacted the entire team. And there are some players, because he was projected already to be a top 10 pick without going to college.
Right.
So there was something that people had seen enough of to that point to think that highly of him. So when you watched, you saw those glimpses. The thing was, you just weren't able to see him enough because of the circumstance. And I think that some people's games translate better in an NBA scenario than they do in a college scenario. And just like vice versa, you have some guys that you watch them play in college and they're phenomenal, but you try to do because it translates to the NBA, and sometimes it just doesn't.
I completely agree with you. We've seen it both ways. We've seen guys who were dynamite in college and just duds in the NBA, and guys that weren't even starters in college, and all of a sudden they put together great NBA careers. Look, I understand if they want to swing for the fences here because of the upside, what he was able to do in high school and on the AAU circuit, and all the accolades that come with it. It was a short 20-game season for Stanford, and he dealt with injuries, which is also something you got to worry about, and also dealt with COVID. So, maybe there's a lot of built-in excuses there, but obviously they see something there that made them want to move up and in the 10th spot take him. But all I kept hearing last night, Brevin, was how great this draft is, how great this draft will be. Obviously, we won't know until these guys have played a few years. But all they kept saying was that, and I thought it was a lot of hyperbole. But if you're at number 10, and it's going to be one of those type of drafts, you would think that you would go for a more sure thing rather than take the shot at maybe great upside, but also a deep basement, which could be Zaire Williams. So when I saw that Bouknight was available, Moody was available, knowing that the Grizzlies need shooting and scoring, I thought that maybe they would go in that direction.
Yeah, but they need it. Well, you're duplicating positions. If you continue to just get another 6'5" guy, or now you go smaller with a 6'2" guy. Mm-hmm. Where's the versatility that they're able to play with on the defensive side? You already got a log jam of same size guys at your 2 position with Grayson Allen, Melton, and Desmond Bain. Those guys are pretty much all of the same size. You add either a Moody or a Bouknight to that. Now you're still an undersized backcourt. I thought a bigger issue for this team was they needed more size at the guard position.
That's a good point.
And so you go out and you find a guy who, as I said, who fits that mold of what you would like. And everyone thought that he was an NBA player already. So now, if you can say by mid-year he's a real contributor in some way and being able to play meaningful minutes with his size, his length, and he'll put on some more weight as he's still young. Mm-hmm. So he'll be able to put on the weight that with maturity, and then with being able to have a real workout schedule, he'll put on that necessary weight. And I think if it all pans out, then he will be the correct choice, and he'll check a major box that I thought they needed, which was more length at the guard position.
The one thing, everything that I've read about him, everybody seems to say that he's a hard worker. Like, he wants it. He wants to be good. He wants to be great. But they also say that, and one of the big issues is the fact that he's got to put on that weight because he's just right now he's just too thin, gets knocked off balance, and has trouble finishing at the rim. So at least for a guy that needs to put on weight, if he's also a hard worker, that makes me feel a lot better that he's going to do the things necessary to get to that point.
Yeah, and I think he also probably in some way wants to live up to being the pick that he is, but also to show, because he didn't have the showing that he probably would have liked to have had in that 1 year of college. So I think he's already a hard worker. You say probably just add him to the list of guys that probably comes in and has somewhat of a chip on their shoulder. The Grizzlies, we have plenty of those guys up and down the roster. And so I think he'll fit in just fine. So just say it'll be a matter of getting in, working extremely hard as to what Taylor Jenkins and the staff would like to get from him. And he doesn't. There's another good thing. He doesn't, even though he got picked 10th, he's not the guy that's going to come in and guys say, well, we're depending on him to be able to change the tone of this team for us to win. Right. That's not what they're going to ask him to do. It's going to be, we just need you to fit, to be a piece to this puzzle as they move forward with this season, but also you move forward for the next couple of seasons. You kind of have a piece that really fits what they needed.
Yeah, it's not like Cade Cunningham's got to really change the whole focus of Detroit, Jalen Green in Houston. No, that's another really good point. Eli, I thought you were about to say he had picked he's in the right city to gain that weight. I thought you were going in that direction. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
But we still want him to gain the right type weight. We don't need him to gain the Brevin Knight after playing weight.
Yeah,
we need him to get the muscle working out, not trying to push away from the table weight.
There's no doubt he can gain weight here that way if he wants to.
Exactly.
I'm hoping that's not.
I've learned that the easy way.
I said he was a hard worker, not a big eater. I don't like I assume. But so Brevin, going back to the reason they were picking at number 10, the trade they made. Jonas gone. I know you love Jonas. What did you think of that trade?
I do. I love Jonas. I love what he brings to the floor. I think he's a game changer because he's a big physical guy, but can still play somewhat of what today's game is. But I also understand that this is still a business, and if you feel like you can get better long term, then everyone pretty much becomes expendable on your team except for your main guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to go out and be able to move up to fulfill a position that you needed. And the other thing was we weren't throwing the ball to Jonas on the interior, even though he was a good postal player. That really just wasn't part of the mentality of this team. So if you could replace that, if you can replace him with another bruising rebounder, screen setter, guy that can set the tone from that position, but they don't need the ball, then I think that's a win for this team. I thought they did a good job with being able to bring in a Steven Adams that you can use, still in that physical presence that you want inside. But he's not a guy that you're going to ever have to worry about throwing the ball to.
If the reports are true that Eric Bledsoe's not a part of the Grizzlies' future, do you think they can turn that into an asset, or do you think they'll have to just buy him out if he's not a part of the future?
Like I said, according to reports, if they can't, I don't see him really fitting what the Grizzlies would like to do moving forward, and I don't think if they can't figure out some type of trade scenario that works well for him and works well for the team, then I don't, like I said, I don't see him being a part of this team in some way.
Right.
Whether it is via trade or via some type buyout.
Yeah, we're in agreement with that.
Brevin, what your draft night? What did you do when you were for your draft night?
Nothing, man. We literally got drafted in Charlotte. We got done with the draft, went to dinner with my wife and my parents and my wife's parents and my agent. And then after that, we went back to the hotel, and then a bunch of my family members that came, they came to the hotel, hung out, but literally we sat in the room, man, and watched some movies. And just because it was like, it was surreal that it really had happened.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, being the kid that I was out of New Jersey, nobody thought of NBA in any way. But to be able to then have a dream come true, it was almost like we just kind of just soaked it all in, and I just relaxed. I didn't do any party, nothing. We literally watched the movies, and that was it. Did
you have a pretty good idea where you were going to be drafted, and did you know team wise, did you have any idea going in kind of where you would be?
Yeah, we had the idea that it was going to be Cleveland. We just didn't know when. Cleveland had 2 picks. They had 13, they had 16. And I think as what happens in the draft and happened in last night's draft, when certain people fall to numbers that they didn't think would be there, then that shuffle changes, because I don't think they thought Derek Anderson was going to be there at 13 to be able to take with the 13th pick from Kentucky. And he was. And so they took him with 13, and then I had the fear that I was going to go to the Clippers at 14 and really beg my agent to make sure that didn't happen, and to be fine with going 16th to Cleveland.
Would that just because the Clippers were so bad, like they were such a kind of a bad franchise then?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short answer, yeah. I can answer that.
You're already out of the West.
they were a bad franchise, and this I always tell people, not the people that were like hands on with the team. All of those people that were in community affairs, the people that worked in the equipment side, those people were all great. Like, that was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. The management of the team was in disarray. It was that way when I was coming out of college. It was that way when I signed my 2-year contract with them, my last deal, which I didn't realize until I got out there.
All right, so back to what the Grizzlies did last night. They obviously had a pick in the second round, which was originally at 40 after the Valanciunas trade, and then for the second year in a row, or second and third 3 years, they moved up and they took somebody in the first round late at number 30, Santi. How do you pronounce that last name?
Aldama.
Yeah, I
sure,
think so.
We'll go with that.
We'll look, and Eli,
we got time to learn it.
Petey will tell me. Petey will explain it to me at some point in time.
Well, Eli was saying earlier in the show, which I concur. Anybody who is in the media who's going to say that they've seen tape of this guy, they're absolutely lying. Nobody knows who this guy is, even though he played at Loyola in Maryland. I don't believe anybody who says they know this guy. But this seems like, you look at what he was able to do, smaller conference, lesser opponents, but put up good numbers. The guy turned down a chance to go to the combine. He had no workouts. The Grizzlies move up, and they take him in the first round. And a guy who may end up staying in Spain, he could be one of those draft and stash guys. What do you think about this pick?
It's intriguing.
It is intriguing, isn't it?
For all the reasons that you just said, is that nobody really knew anything about him. Nobody knew what was that this would be a move that they made. But the one thing that I cannot do at this point is question this front office, because they have been able to push the right buttons since they have been in place. And so I'm going to say that they have done enough due diligence to see that there is something with him. And from the highlights that you see the versatility, the way that he handles the ball, shoots it from the perimeter. And anytime you can find a guy, listen, I don't care what league you play. You can go and average 20 and 10 and shoot at a high percentage, and you have all of the physical gifts, then you warrant being looked at. And so I'm intrigued to see, number one, what they do, what happens, what the scenario will be, but then to see him in action. Because if he is as versatile and can play at the level that we saw on the clips that they showed last night, then I think that they've again gotten another steal, and they got a guy with a little bit of age also.
Which that's kind of been more their MO that they've drafted this front office, until Zaire Williams. He's a little different than what they've drafted, because they've gone for those older college guys who have played years in college, and they feel are kind of more ready to step in and play.
They've also had success with guys from Spain.
Yes.
There's a track record.
They have a pretty good track record with the Spanish players, and so I just think that they do a great job of doing their due diligence.
Yes.
They recognize the need, and I think the other thing that works well is I think there's a really good communication between Taylor Jenkins and the front office. There are a lot of times where those two entities work separate of one another, but really you need to be on the same page in order to be good, and I think they have a really good working relationship in that way.
I'm wondering if is he part of the Spanish Olympic team? I know he was the under-18 team, the junior team. Is he on the team in Tokyo?
No, they mentioned that one of the Spanish players, but I'm not sure if it was
Garuba is
him
on the
that they said.
Garuba is on the team.
Oh, okay.
That's who it was. I remember that. I remember them saying one guy. I don't remember them saying that our draft pick was on that team.
I got you. I was wondering because of the connection with Mark and Powell, and obviously these are guys that he. I mean, to me, it seems like that even though this guy has stayed away from NBA and the combine and all that stuff, it seems like if this guy has a conversation with the Gasols and even Juan Carlos Navarro is still over there, about Memphis that, and I'm sure it's a lot of positives, that maybe he changes his mind and said, you know what, I want to go to the NBA. They moved up to take me at 30 in the first round. I want to play NBA, even though that you read about him wanting to stay in Spain. So that may be a connection to the other guys.
Right. Well, for me, I can say that I think what will really help this team is still finding a veteran guy in one of these scoring positions. I think that will alleviate some of the pressure on what Ja will have to do. It also will alleviate Jaren and his continuing to come back to figure out what his role and how he fits into this new style of basketball with playing with Ja. So I even though these young guys are always looking towards the future, but there's still like some impact things that can happen now that a lot of times that's what veteran guys bring to the table.
I completely agree. I think there's still a move or two that will be made in the offseason. I don't think the guys right now that are on the roster are necessarily all going to be there when camp opens up. But it is intriguing. It was an interesting draft, to say the least. And, Brev, we appreciate you taking some time out of your vacation to join us. We always learn a lot from you. He's the Grizzlies television analyst, 12-year NBA point guard, Stanford graduate, and, of course, future Champions Tour golfer. He is the one and only Brevin Knight. You can follow him on Twitter at BrevinKnight22. Stay safe, stay well. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, you guys also, and also stay cool down there in that heat.
Okay. That's impossible.
We'll try. We're doing our best.
Thanks, Brevin.
See you, Brevin.
All right, I'll talk to you.
Moving can be a stressful thing to have to go through, but with the folks at Black Tie Moving, they can make it as easy on you as possible. Sit down with the folks at Black Tie Moving. They'll come up with a plan that works for what you need and works with your budget as well. And they'll give you a no-obligation quote to let you know up front what it is going to cost you for your move, whether it's across town or across country, your home, your office, whatever you're moving, wherever you're moving. The folks at Black Tie Moving are there to help. You can give them a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. And you can see online there all the reviews, the 5-star reviews that they've got. They've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. They're the best in the business. And when you use Black Tie Moving, you've got your own moving concierge that's available 24/7 to answer any questions that you've got. So they're going to make, the process as easy as it possibly can be for you. Don't try and do it yourself. Use the folks at Black Tie Moving. Again, 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
Adam Duvall heading back to the Braves. He was with the Marlins this year, 22 dingers, 68 runs batted in 90 games. That's pretty darn good production. So another bat for the Atlanta Braves as moves continue to be made with the Major League Baseball trade deadline coming up at 3 o'clock Central Time. When we come back, it's all about 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. If you want to play, if you want an opportunity to win a great prize package to get your weekend kicked off in the right way, jump on the phone lines right now at 360-8255. 360-8255. We'll do 10 in a row when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Jason's Deli cater your special event. Any meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Save all the time and all the trouble and let Jason's Deli do all the work. Locations at Park Place, Poplar and Highland, Cordova, and Olive Branch. Breakfast packages, hot breakfast choices, breakfast sandwich boxes. They serve 12, ham, sausage, fresh cracked eggs, crispy bacon, flatbread, breakfast 8-ounce, individually boxed flatbread sandwiches. Sunshine breakfast, hot wrap breakfast, breakfast pastries, coffee, and fresh orange juice. Sandwich boxes, the manager's special, soup, fresh fruit, deluxe sandwiches, boardroom box, traditional box, sandwich trays, hot meals, desserts, and drinks. Go to jasonsdeli.com. Whether you need to feed 5 or 5,000, the experienced team at Jason's Deli can deliver. Locations in Park Place, Olive Branch, Poplar and Highland, and Cordova. The commitment to variety, value, and quality ingredients means you can feel great about choosing Jason's Deli catering for all 3 meals.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9%, MSRP $20,685, Sportage in 79.79,540, 0% MSRP $26,060, K5 NGO 950.54, 0.9%, MSRP $25,840, includes all rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021, dealer stock only, must finance through Kia on APR offer.
The real estate market is always tough, but this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Memphis, it's official, honey. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp, chicken, salmon, and fried lobster pastas. There's snow crab, king crab, dungeons, and more. Please don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobsters, honey. The portion, the price, the taste is only at Crab Kings. Download our app and search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings, where the flavor is king.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's a cold, wet December day, and we touch the ground of champagne. Snow is melting on the ground. Yes, I heard the sound of an angel.
Welcome back. 10 in a row coming your way in just a moment. It was short and sweet, but I think you will get the answer to whether or not Santi Alama is planning on coming to Memphis by his response. Here it is.
What's up, Memphis? It's Santi Alama. Can't wait to join the team, see the city, meet the fans. Go Grizzlies.
Well, I think you got your answer right there. From the horse's mouth, Santi Alama, the 30th pick overall in the draft, the Grizzlies' second first-rounder after moving up into the first round. The questions of whether or not he was going to come and play in the NBA, who loves his native Spain to play in Spain. Well, he's coming, so I'm sure he will be a part of the Summer League team, as will, of course, Zaire Williams. It looks like Yves Pons has been signed as a free agent to be at least with the Summer League team. You got the Exhibit 10 contract reportedly signed by Romeo Weems, or at least agreed to, the DePaul product who was not drafted. These guys will all be part, I would assume, of the Summer League team. Heading out to Vegas.
Yeah, the Alama thing, that still is very confusing to me. I don't understand the move into the first round for him. That one will there has to be an explanation. I just don't know what it would be.
We may never find out. Maybe one of the great mysteries, like where's Jimmy Hoffa's body? One other trade that was made that we didn't talk about was Derek Favors. And I don't think that happened until this morning, where it was like announced this morning. Oklahoma City was able to get another first-round pick in the trade with Utah as they acquired Derek Favors for a 2027 second-round pick. So they bring on the contract of Derek Favors, and I'm not sure if he's going to be a part of their present or future, but there's another first-rounder for Oklahoma City. It's got to be a record of some sort.
No, it's like it's insane. Like they just, even when they use a first-round pick, they seem to gain another 2 somehow. Like they're like their first-round picks are like the gremlins, man. They get wet, they just multiply.
Well, we need you to jump on the phone lines right now at 360-8255. That's 360-8255 because it's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
Yes, the game show that has swept the nation. It's 10 in a row. Today we're going to have a question about NBA first-round picks. Eli, what are they playing for today?
Today, the winner of 10 in a row will get $25 gift certificate to Sweetgrass at Cooper Young, $25 to Sunrise on Jefferson, and also a couple of Malco movie passes.
All right, so it's pretty simple. NBA first-round picks. I'll give you the name of a player. If they were selected in the first round, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. You're not going to get obvious ones. You're not going to get LeBron James, okay? You're not going to get the stars more than likely.
He'd be a yes, by the way.
He would be a yes. And I am not going to use him. So we got open phone lines right now, 360-8255, if you'd like to play 10 in a row. NBA first-round picks. Again, I'll give you the name of a player. If they were a first-round selection in the NBA draft, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. When I was doing the research for the Memphis Sports Fact, which is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers, about the Memphis draft history in basketball, and it came out to be 53 players that were drafted. Boy, back in the day, they had so many rounds. It was like the baseball amateur draft.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, I knew they had a lot of rounds, but I mean, I'm looking back, and this guy from the Tigers was picked in the 17th round. Oh my gosh! You look at rosters; they're so small in the NBA. How do you even stand a chance? 360-8255.
What round was Hank McDowell drafted in? Wasn't he like a?
I don't remember.
13th or 14th.
Was he that late?
I was thinking. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
360-8255. Waiting on you, ladies and gentlemen. One other thing that we got to bring up from last night, which was absolutely.
No, Hank was fifth round, so I'm thinking of somebody else.
I almost said fifth round.
I'm trying to think of
Hank.
I can't think of who that was. It was like a 13th or 14th that I'm thinking of. I thought it was a former Tiger.
But before we get to the calls, again, we got some open lines at 360-8255. What a great gesture last night from the NBA and Adam Silver in particular, honoring the late Terrence Clark by having this honorary drafting of him selected by the NBA with his mother there and other family members taking the stage. I thought that was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really great gesture by the NBA. If that didn't get you a little bit, then you must not be human. That got the eyes a little sweaty.
Yes, and I know how Brevin was talking about it earlier, his draft night and just everything, the anticipation, and this poor young man losing his life just months before the draft and his family as well. But that was a great gesture by the NBA.
360-8255, 360-8255 to play 10 in a row. Again, $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 to Sunrise, and 2 Malco movie passes going to the winner of 10 in a row today. Again, you can get on the phone lines at 360-8255. James is going to lead us off. Hello, James.
Hi, James.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Again, NBA first-round picks. I'll give you the name. If you were selected in the first round, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. I'm not going to say this is easy, all right? Some obscure names. Some. Austin Rivers.
Yes.
Dennis Rodman.
No.
Robin Lopez.
Yes.
C.J. McCollum.
No.
360-8255 is the number. We got open lines. We're playing 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation. NBA first-round picks. Just like with James, I'll give you the name. If they were selected in the first round, it's a yes. If not, it's a no.
Again, $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 to Sunrise, and 2 Malco movie passes all go to the winner. So a nice prize package on the line for somebody out there who could win 10 in a row.
By the way, and I'm not sure if they had it on the Olympic update that we brought you at 11:20. They probably did. I just, that's when I went to the bathroom. But what's his name? Djokovic lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that means he doesn't have the chance to win what do they call it now? Is it the Golden Slam?
Yeah, that's what they were calling it. Yeah.
Steffi Graf. I forgot that Steffi Graf had accomplished that. That's to win all 4 majors in the same year and win the Olympic gold for the singles competition. Djokovic, having already won 3 majors. If he had won this, the U.S. Open still to go, where he'd be the favorite. Didn't happen. Got knocked out by Zverev in the semifinals.
360-8255. Let's go, folks. You want to play 10 in a row and win the great prize package, you need to get on the lines right now, like David. What's up, David?
Hey, David.
Hey, guys.
Al Jefferson.
Yes.
Ben Wallace.
No.
Steve Kerr.
No.
Nick Van Exel.
Yes.
360-8255. NBA first-round selections.
Let's go to another David. Hello, David. Part 2.
How you doing, guys?
Hey,
Doing
David.
good.
All right, back to the first list. And again, we got some open lines at 360-8255. NBA first-round selections. Austin Rivers.
No.
360-8255 is the number. Not going to sit around and wait. I know the strategy. Wait till you get to about 7 or 8 and then jump on the phone lines. But we don't have a lot of time to sit around and wait. If you want to try to win a great prize package, jump on the phone lines right now. 360-8255. We're talking NBA first-round picks. By the way, what did you think of, and I didn't bring this up yesterday, about Xavier Howard of the Dolphins and what he had to say, requesting a trade now, basically said that he was hoodwinked into signing his contract.
Got to know what your got to know who your agent is.
Absolutely. I mean, that's on him. That's not on the Dolphins.
You get a bad agent, that can happen to you. So you gotta make sure you got the right agent. All right, 360-8255. Let's go to Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, guys.
All right, NBA first-round picks. Al Jefferson.
Yes.
Ben Wallace.
No.
Steve Kerr.
No.
Nick Van Exel.
No.
Steve Nash.
Yes.
Jimmer Fredette.
Yes.
Carlos Boozer.
No.
Antonio Davis.
No.
Joe Johnson.
Yes.
Paul George.
Yes.
Winner.
There you
Chicken
go, Gary.
dinner. Man, Gary, good job.
Very well done, Gary. Congratulations. You are a winner. You got $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 from Sunrise, and a couple of Malco movie passes coming your way. Hold on, and Gabe will take care of you.
That's why you don't delay, but the lines are full, Eli. It's your choice here. What are you going to do? Second chance?
Yeah, I'll give Paul, Bill, and Andre a shot. What's up, Paul?
Hey, Paul.
Morning, guys.
All right, we go back to
Good
list
afternoon.
one. Good afternoon.
Yeah,
good
well,
morning, good
afternoon.
evening,
Okay.
and good night.
It's morning somewhere, though. But it's also 5 o'clock somewhere, which is more important.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yes, indeed.
Austin Rivers.
Yes.
Dennis Rodman.
No.
Robin Lopez.
Yes.
C.J. McCollum.
Yes.
Rashard Lewis.
No.
Spud Webb.
Yes.
3-6. Well, we're not taking any more calls. We're going to go to who? Bill?
Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing well. About halfway through the list, Bill. Austin Rivers.
No.
Oh, Bill, you weren't paying attention.
Andre. Last shot.
All right, Dre.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Here we go. You got about a halfway start on this. Austin Rivers.
Yes.
Dennis Rodman.
No.
Robin Lopez.
Yes.
C.J. McCollum.
Yes.
Rashard Lewis.
Yes.
Oh, Dre wasn't paying close attention. He was paying attention, but not close enough. Spud Webb, we got to him, was a no. 4 we didn't get to, Eli. Paul Pierce.
Yes.
Doc Rivers.
Oh, gosh. Let's say yes.
That's a no. His son went in the first. He did not. Manu Ginobili.
No.
and Gilbert Arenas.
I'm going to say no.
You're correct. That's a tough one. Gilbert Arenas is
I was thinking he was right around 30, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't give the easy, obvious ones, and some were tough, but not too bad. Good job by our listeners, as always. It's called 10 in a Row. It's the game show that has swept the nation. We do it each and every Friday.
So I was correct that there's a report that the Dodgers are in the Craig Kimbrell mix. So they may be – the Dodgers' payroll could end up being $5 billion, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. They might be up to $5 billion by the end of this whole thing. The White Sox are apparently very much in on Kimbrell. The Tampa Bay Rays are in on Kimbrell and Chris Bryant. So there's the reliever market is going to be very interesting, and Kimbrell is at the top of that.
The Braves also just got Eddie Rosario. So they've added to Adam Duvall. Real fun final 2 hours and 15 minutes of the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Look, if you get, which they've already have, Scherzer, Trey Turner, Danny Duffy, and if you get Kimbrell, I can't imagine there's better hauls than that. There have been like great single individual players that would move on to a team during the trade deadline. But to get a haul that big, that good, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd have to go back and do a lot of research, which I'm not about to do, if there's been hauls better than that, but that would be pretty incredible. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll have our final segment of the week. We'll wrap things up with one final thing. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
With the value of the U.S. dollar continuing to slump due to unprecedented money printing, it has never been more important to protect your savings and retirement accounts from inflation. Many hardworking Americans, just like you and I, are turning to a proven method to protect what we work so hard to earn, real gold. You can have real gold delivered privately and securely to your home, or have real gold put into your IRA or 401k. Just call Oxford Gold Group right now, 833-928-GOLD. The Oxford Gold Group will teach you everything you want to know about owning real gold. It's a lot easier than you think. Call the Oxford Gold Group now at 833-928-GOLD to get your free precious metals investment guide. Talk to them about getting real gold and silver delivered to your home, or about having real gold placed in your IRA or 401k. The Oxford Gold Group is here to help you protect your savings and retirement from the unknown. Call them now, 833-928-GOLD. So, what are you waiting for? 833-928-GOLD. Get your gold you can hold from the Oxford Gold Group, 833-928-GOLD.
Hey, listen up, Mid-South. It's time to get your new ride on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat with the biggest Make This the Summer event you've ever seen. Check out 2021 Dodge Challenger at $389 a month. Power up in a 2021 Dodge Charger at $429 a month. And get adventure ready in a 2021 Jeep Wrangler Sport, now just $539 a month. And don't forget to check out the all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Never a better time to trade or buy a new Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat from Gossett. So drive past the rest and come to the best, or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, 75 months at 3.99 APR, 3,500 down. Challenger MH586,606, MSRP 31,835. Charger MH602255, MSRP 33,435. Wrangler MW663938, MSRP 40,650. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Mentioned earlier the Adam Schefter report about the injury to Carson Wentz, the Colts quarterback, who is out indefinitely and is undergoing further testing. Now, the Eagles trade with the Colts would net them a conditional first-round pick if Wentz plays 75% of the snaps this season or 70% with a Colts playoff berth. So we don't know if this will keep him out of games. It seems serious. I'm worried because the Colts are my team. But again, the Eagles are a little worried as well, as they would love to have that conditional first-round pick. And the last thing the Colts need is an injury, especially with the young quarterbacks they have backing them up. In Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger, they would be in the market for a veteran coach, or veteran quarterback.
Maybe they could pull Phillip Rivers out of retirement.
One more? The chant, one more year around Indianapolis.
Just a few more walk-off interceptions before the career's over.
Where's Nick Foles? I know you'd be into that, Greg.
Nick Foles, third stringer for the Bears. Probably available.
You could probably get him.
You could convince him.
Probably available. Now you'll wonder, oh, man, why did we trade Jacoby Brissett? Couple of other things. Keep an eye on Jalen Duren. That decision could come this week and could come this weekend about whether or not he'll reclassify and go to college. Memphis in the mix. Miami seems to be. Memphis, Miami, Kentucky also mentioned. Of course, the G League and all that is the possibility as well for Jalen Duren. But keep that in mind. I think 5 o'clock today is the deadline for players to be involved in next week's WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. The entry deadline, again, I think it's 5 o'clock. We could have another name or two. Right now, the field is unbelievable, as it usually is, but there's still a few names out there. We haven't heard if John Rahms had a change of heart or Bryson DeChambeau. Again, as Daryl Smith told us yesterday, that both would clear protocol for COVID to be able to play next week. Now it's just the decision of whether or not they will play. And, of course, 3 o'clock today, the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Keep it right here with John Harden, as Johnny will have the latest as far as anything happening with baseball and the trade deadline.
Well, if you want to, with golf, a lot of thought about golf in the area with the tournament coming up next week. If you're looking to play some golf, you know the first place you need to go. That's Edwin Watts. Going over there and see them in the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center on Poplar between Ridgeway and 240. Everything from the game of golf, they've got it for you, from balls and gloves to apparel and shoes to clubs. Every club maker imaginable. You can get fitted for clubs. You could try out the clubs right there in the store, find out what works for you the best. You can get club repair done. You need training aids, any of that stuff. They've got it all for you. If it deals with the game of golf, the folks at Edwin Watts have it. Range finders and all of the other things, you can check it out. They're well stocked. Jay and the gang will take good care of you. Again, the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center on Poplar between Ridgeway and 240. You got Target on one end, Best Buy on the other. They're right in the middle next door to PetSmart. That's where you'll find them. That is Edwin Watts. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
You may have missed this news yesterday amidst everything that was going on with baseball trades and, of course, the NBA draft. But Cleveland Indians, soon to be the Cleveland Guardians, skipper Terry Francona is walking away from his managerial duties for the remainder of the 2021 season to focus on his health and recovery. Bench coach DeMarlo Hale will assume managerial duties. Francona has been really suffering from injuries, including an injury to his hip and his foot. I believe he's had surgery before in his foot, but it looks like he's going to have surgery again on the foot and surgery on the hip. So Terry Francona walking away from the Indians for the remainder of the season.
Well, Alyssa Nair could be the next U.S. women's soccer hero after what she did today for the women's national team. The goalie, who actually, after having given up a pretty weak goal, saved a penalty kick in the 80th minute of the match in order to preserve a tie at 2-2. And then once the game went to penalty kicks, she saved two more for the U.S. to pick the victory up over the Netherlands and advance on into the semifinals. So 3 saves on penalty kicks for Alyssa Nair, including one in the 80th minute that probably would have been a loser if she doesn't save that one. That's a pretty impressive performance.
That's really impressive.
The first one in the penalty kicks was, I don't, like, she had to guess perfectly because the girl, I mean, she hit it hard and right to the very edge, and somehow she got there and blocked it. It was, I can't believe she got there.
Yeah, a lot of times it is a guessing game. That's big. Of course, Megan Rapinoe ended up with the game winner, but yeah, they've had some close shaves, obviously, and it's doesn't look like as strong a unit as they've had in Olympics past, but still good enough to win gold. But you got to have a little luck on your side. And a lot of times with saves, goalkeeper saves, a lot of it's about luck. Well, we thank you for listening today and all week long. Thank you for your patronage to this station and in particular to the Middays program. Can't thank you enough. Big thanks to Barrett Salee and Brevin Knight for joining us on the program today. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. That'll be followed by Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. That'll do it for us. For Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Monday.
If you ask old Will to say, here's the deal, friends, it's all going